Welcome to What the Fuck Are You Reading? Episode 3.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah!
I'm Lisa, and we've got Silas.
Hi.
And Bones.
Hi.
And Brianna.
Hi.
And Chris.
Hey.
And we have a special guest today. We have James from a Darkish Cinema podcast.
Hi.
Woo!
I don't know why I'm so special. I don't feel very special.
The specialist of boys.
You haven't been here before yet.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. That's true. I am working on getting Sunny on here too. So
Oh, yeah.
maybe
I know.
next month. We'll see.
I know. I would love it.
We are a lot.
I figured we could
on
just
this
do
one.
a tag team thing where one of us comes in here for half the episode and the other one tags out
Yeah.
and goes back in there to all the fucking chaos we have to deal with in the other fucking room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also, like, I mean, she can, like, wear a burqa or something.
That is an
She
option.
really doesn't
I don't
want to be
think-
seen.
I don't think that's particularly the problem.
That's a good idea.
So much as the fact that she just doesn't want to speak.
I know.
I don't know why.
I know. And she's like, on your episode, she was like, I'm just not good at talking about books. And I'm like, she's just as good as the rest of us. Like, I
Yes,
don't know what
she's
she's
fine.
talking about.
She does it on our own episodes and she does perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I was listening to one where you're like, you just did it.
Yeah. She's like, no,
Last
not like
segment.
them. And I'm like,
Yep.
no, none of us are good at it either. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
For real, this is, like, the most
I'm
daunting
sweating
thing
the
we
whole
do.
time I'm talking on this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm always like, okay, time to try and sound smart.
Yeah. I'll talk about a book. I don't remember a goddamn thing from. I just make up most of the shit that I say.
But that's everything, Chris.
Well, yeah. I was like,
Chris
that's
is like,
not
I just-
unusual.
Write my
It's like,
own
I
books
just make
over
up
here.
the books.
Yeah.
Don't look it up. You ain't gonna find it.
Yeah, he's talking about freaking instruction manuals and shit.
That's some good reading right there.
Speaking of Sunny, though, this episode hasn't published yet. So, Silas, I have something for you. In our next weekly update, she has a request for you. She wants you to read The Bug Collector.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but she apparently
Oh,
enjoyed it
isn't that one
immensely
we have?
and really, really appreciates your insight into things. And yeah, she wanted me to mention that to you.
Okay.
It's
let me,
actually on my list of things to read, so-
I've read it. It's fucking disgusting. It's awesome.
Yeah,
I was like, I know I've heard of
heard
it.
it brought up either from her or on here, and I was like, oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah, I know she's brought it up before, but she finally
Yeah, I
read
think-
it.
Yeah, I feel like I told you about it when we were fucking at your house because it's Wrath James White. It's like one of the
Yes.
bigger
Yeah.
names in there.
I mean, I
Let's
know
see if I
you
can
guys.
Find it.
I know you guys went and saw each other, but why were you fucking at his house?
That's
Yeah.
just,
Is that
What
what you
they
were
do.
actually doing in his
That's
office?
just what we do.
yeah.
That's what Chloe and Brianna were supposed to do, and it just ended up being me and Bones.
That's how it fucking
Yeah,
goes. man.
we spent like 30 minutes trying to find a shit ass movie, so kind of killed the mood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
The girls talk a big
Oh,
game until
shit.
it's fucking game time, and then
Right?
Yo, I just found a audiobook for Bug Collector. I'm gonna get it right now.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Right.
Wrath James White's a
How
pretty
much
decent
is that
author.
right now?
It's $6.
Oh, that's fucking.
And
You,
the,
you do Spotify though, don't you?
I did, but this is on just the Apple Audiobooks app because it wasn't on Spotify, so I'm just buying the audiobook. But the
It's only $7 on.
the ebook
Kindle right
version
now.
is only $8. So, but I want to be able to listen to it at work and knock it out, so we'll do it that way.
Yeah, it's a fairly short book.
Also, I love. I'm specifically trying to buy more extreme horror and like splatterpunk and indie horror audiobooks because I want them to get a little more support on the platforms because I just want there to be more of them because they're kind of few and far between, you know. So
Yeah. Well, Wrath James White also does not sell his books for cheap, and he rarely sells physical copies of them. Like, he's pretty crazy. I don't know why. I have a physical copy, but it took me forever to find it.
I just bought it on Kindle. It was only $2.99 for the book, not the audio.
Hell yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
If you can suffer through it, I have it. It's pretty short.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the one
I
next
think
to
it said
Ecstasy of Agony.
73 pages, so it's pretty short.
Hey, that would be kind of fun. We could, if we all brought it next time, because then we could kind of slowly start moving toward.
Uh-huh.
Stop climbing on the furniture.
I know,
Bones.
because
There
I
you
was
go.
going to bring that up, because Bones had mentioned that we should do that, and I was like, yeah, we should try that next time.
Yeah, that's teeny. I can read that. It's just my eyes. I've been using Kindle because I can't. My
Mhm.
eyes. I need a special lens, so I've been using Audible and Kindle to zoom in.
Yeah, 72, but there's a lot of fucking blank pages because he has a big ass blank page before each
I
chapter.
hate when they do that.
You need a little magnifying glass, Brianna. I got one.
Well, I was
know,
going to
I
say,
really
that's my
do.
problem with paperbacks. I can never, see it well enough.
That's what I use for my
Yeah,
jewels.
Shit.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, well, they basically said I needed something that's called a prism, which I think is the equivalent of like a monocle type deal. So, but it's like
hell yeah.
expensive as shit.
You're going to be looking fancy.
I'm fucking
You, have
monocled
that, you
out.
should have it like attached to a little gold
Oh,
chain
of
goes
course.
down
Yeah.
to your breast pocket.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah!
The only way.
What time it is?
man.
You have chains everywhere, one on your wallet, you got a pocket watch,
One from my nose.
one for your nose.
Get you some gold cufflinks.
Mm-hmm.
Did Chris say that you guys have a lot of books?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't
I've-
have
we
to
have
read all of
5.
them.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got 5.
I've got 7.
Okay.
Brianna
that-
whooped ass with one.
Is that just like your books, Brianna, or is that the ones you read from everybody else too?
There's 5 for everyone, and then I've got 2 that I can just tag those 2 that
Oh,
I
okay.
read of my onto next month if I need to.
Oh no, that's fine. I was just curious.
Stop fucking reading so much.
No, I read a
I-
lot
I
too, but yeah, I have
Some of us didn't read any books and we feel left out.
I have 5
Well-
from everybody's recommendations last time that I was just gonna throw together in one.
I'm just here for moral
Yeah.
support.
Well, a couple of mine won't be much to talk about anyways, so.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we'll just start with Silas like we always do and go around.
So,
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Start
should
of the
say,
month.
Silas, what the fuck are you reading?
I read toward the very beginning of the month. I found the audiobook on Spotify. They actually have a lot of them if anybody else is interested. I found the audiobook for Gears of War Aspho Fields.
God damn.
Oh.
I had
gonna
recently
type
checked
this?
out. He's like, I guess. I had recently checked out Gears of War Reloaded, and I was like, yeah, I should get back into some of these games. And then I was like, you know what? I've never checked out the peripheral materials, really. Like, I think the first 2 books in, like, middle school going into high school, and I read all of the first one and part of the second one, and then got sidetracked or something. So I wanted to get back into them. I checked out this one on Spotify, as I said, and it was pretty solid. It was written by... Who was the author? Did I not put her fucking name down? I'm an idiot. I'll find it here in a second. But the author who did the novelization, well, it's not really, it's just its own original work, but she worked really closely with the company to develop and help with the canon for the series. So it's like, it's not one of those like side novel things where you have to worry about it not actually being canon and having a lot of weird discrepancies or whatever. It's not just licensed out. She actually worked pretty closely with the writers of the series, and she actually wrote and directed several elements of the 3rd video game in the Gears of War series, which is super cool. She's a pretty popular sci-fi writer. Karen Travis. She's a UK sci-fi writer, and she has original works as well, but she is the writer of several of the Halo series side novels as
Oh.
well.
Nice.
But yeah, she worked on these Gears of War novels. I think the first 4 or 5 of them, and then I think there's like 7 or 8 now. And yeah, she was the director and main writer for the third game in the franchise. This one was released in between Gears of War 1 and 2 as kind of a promo for Gears of War 2. And it's marketed as a prequel, but it actually has a lot of content that bridges the gap right between the first and second game as well.
Okay.
Quite a bit, actually. It's almost, I want to say half and half, or maybe even more in between than it is prequel stuff. Oh, she also wrote a bunch of Star Wars tie-in novels as well. She's pretty prolific. She has a pretty wide catalog of books. But there are a lot of fun things in this. There were like cheeky little references to the game at times. One thing that I thought was really funny was they talked about everybody in the squad taking a comms call at the same time, and if you've played Gears of War, whenever you're at a lull in the combat and you're getting a call from HQ, everybody does this silly stance, and they all hold their earpieces and look exactly the same and walk around slowly. And there's a reference to it in the writing, and saying that they all look comical, look at it like doing the same pose, taking the comm call at the same time. And I thought that was really funny. It was really cheeky.
Yeah.
And this one actually goes back to battles prior to Gears of War 1 that get referenced in dialogue in the game. And you learn about Dom, the second main character from Gears of War, your couch co-op buddy. You learn about his brother Carlos, his older brother Carlos, who actually died in the Battle of Aspho Fields. And I was actually really surprised by how affecting the death sequence for him was, because this isn't a character you ever see in the games. It's strictly in this book. But the build-up was really good, and you get a bunch of flashbacks to their childhood growing up, because Marcus and Dom have been friends since they were literally children, and so they are like really, really close-knit, and they're pretty much a family, and they refer to Marcus as a Santiago, as if he's like just one of their main core family members, and his death fucking sucks. And there's a really emotional moment in there too with Cole, who is the guy who has the happiest disposition out of the whole squad in the video games. I think it seems like he's largely unbothered by fucking anything that happens, and he's always just like chipper and just like, let's just move on from it and keep on rolling, you know. Keep on rolling, baby. It's the coal train. And he doesn't give a shit. But there's a moment in this where a character goes to him and is like, Cole, what are you doing? Because he's like sitting here writing something off on his own, and he's like, oh, I'm writing a letter to my mama. And she's like, oh, I didn't know your parents were still alive. And he's like, they're not. and he was just like, I'm just saying all the stuff I wish I could have said before Emergence Day, before everything changed, you know, or whatever.
Aww.
And he like actually has a tear roll down his cheek, even though it doesn't like crack his demeanor. It's like you can tell like he is very like emotionally vulnerable in his own way and has his own ways of coping with things.
Single man tear.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. There's a character in this, the one who was having that exchange with him, Bernie, and she's kind of this world's equivalent to, like, I think she's supposed to be Australian, maybe, if I'm remembering right. Either that or English. But she is a really cool character. I will say that I think this book could have used a little more in terms of actual action sequences, as much as I loved getting more background lore to the way that the world of Sarah works, and the kind of pseudo-fascistic, like very militarized government of the coalition of Gears, and kind of what they were to the world prior to Emergence Day when everything hit the fan, because they weren't very liked, and they were at war with a lot of other nations. They were essentially like the U.S. superpower that the United States is, and kind of encroaching on other territories all around the world, and kind of policing it in a very hyper-militarized way. But I do think that there should have been just a little more carnage and chaos in there in the mix. The battle scenes that are in there are really good. It's just mostly a lore book, if if I'm being honest. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because like I said, I found it very interesting. But for people who were as early to this series as this book was written, right after the first game, it's kind of crazy that this is the immediate first novelization follow-up to a game where, like, the gimmick mechanic is running up against enemy alien infantry and mowing them down with a chainsaw bayonet. So it's like, there's only so many battle scenes in this. They're very few and far between, but still a cool book nonetheless. I would recommend it if you're into Gears of War enough to care about the peripheral and tie-in stuff. I really want to check out some of the Gears of War comic books, because I imagine they are a little more action heavy, just because of the nature of the medium. But I will probably eventually make my way through the rest of these books. I don't know if I'll keep doing it on here and if I'll have another one for next month or not yet. But if the well runs dry, I might get into the second one and report on that.
Okay.
But yeah. So that was Gears of War Aspho Fields by Karen Travis. Who wants to go next? James, you want to have a pick as an inaugural first-timer?
Yeah.
Woo, sure, why not? Okay, so the first book that I want to talk about is the whole reason I wanted to come on here today.
Mm-hmm.
It's a book that I have not actually finished, but I wanted to come on here as warning. So if anybody knows an author by the name of Blake Carson, don't tell him about this episode, because I'm going to hurt his feelings. I was reading, or listening to, as it were, on Spotify, History of Cinema by Blake Carson. And it was going okay. It was a little bit odd, the time frames he put into the eras that he was explaining as he was doing this. Hold on, I'm trying to get it to where I can see the chapters. There we go. So, like the first couple of chapters. So chapter 1, he covered the history of cinema from 1890 to 1910, which is a kind of a weird position to place transitions. 1910 is really odd. And then the next chapter was the golden age of Hollywood, which he claims is 1910 to 1960. Again, really fucking weird time frames there. And then chapter 3 was 1960 to 2000. And I was like, I kind of see that. I kind of understand that. But then every other chapter beyond that just covered from that time period to present. Every single chapter. And this fucking book is 15 chapters long. And I was done with it in chapter 4. According to Spotify, I am 27% through this fucking bullshit. And the reason I'm done with it is because chapter 4 is the golden age of storytelling from 2000 to 2020.
Oh,
nobody fucking calls that time period
That's
the
insane.
Golden age of storytelling.
We are in an intellectual rut, dude. What the fuck is he on about?
I was like, this is fucking awful. This is horrible. I have never heard those words put together ever.
Wait a minute.
And I was like, I can't fucking finish this shit. And so I looked at the other chapters. I wish I had read the chapter titles before I started this bullshit. But pretty much every single one of them is like the digital revolution, cinema in the streaming era, the impact of digital innovation, digital revolution in cinema. You fucking already did that. It's just on and on and on about the glory of the digital age. And I'm so pissed. If you come across this book, just fucking don't.
Yeah.
Just fucking don't.
Do you know when
I was so mad.
that book came out?
2025.
That's why. That's why he said it.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. This motherfucker has also written a book that was the history of comics. And I looked at that one as well, but this time I was smart and I checked the chapters and it's the exact same bullshit. It's the exact same bullshit. Like, if you're going to cover an era in depth, make your whole book about that era. If you're going to cover like the new Hollywood era, make it all about the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and don't even bother with anything else, and at least frame it honestly like that. Don't frame it as the history of cinema.
Yeah.
You know, frame it as something that actually, you know, Ugh. I'm sorry, I'm so angry. But even then, even if he had framed it that way, hey, we're going to talk about the digital revolution and as it applies to cinema. Even if he were to frame it that way, still calling 2000 to 2020 the golden age of storytelling is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because in a day and age when we're all bitching, whining, and complaining about how there's no originality in Hollywood, how the fuck could you possibly make the correlation to the golden age of storytelling? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Blake Carson. Yes.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to. I love my soapbox.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a wild fucking statement to put in a book.
It is.
Crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah,
I have never heard those words put together ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I also
was
think
very upset.
you're right, though. Like, if he wanted to cover that specific, the current era, it's fine to write on, like, the current era or whatever, but, like,
Yeah.
to frame it in a way as if it's a comprehensive kind of a thing is kind of silly, because he could have just had those first chapters be, like, the preface leading into what he's doing and just be, like, the cliff notes of the history getting to his point,
Yeah.
Like, silly.
Exactly. And like I said, the comic book one is exactly the same. And when I saw that, I didn't look any further for this guy's works. At all.
Suck it, Blake.
Yeah, stop riding, motherfucker.
All right. I don't know who. I don't know who to send it to. I guess one of the two up there.
Yeah.
I'll go.
Bones.
So I guess it's just gonna be a fucking habit. My first book is I literally finished it the day after we fucking did the last episode, but it's fucking another fucking Fear Street from R.L. Stine.
Okay.
This one's called Perfect Date. So you got Brady, who's just a good old fancy douchey fucking jock ass kid with a beautiful, very sweet girlfriend that he of course has to cheat on because he found his perfect match in a wild fucking girl who's apparently beautiful, but we don't know her last name, never got a phone number, fucking where the fuck does she live? Who fucking knows? And she keeps coming into his life and just wrecking it, convincing him to let her drive the dad's car, and then fucking smashes it into a pole, and then switch me seats, I don't have a license, and then she just disappears.
Oh my god.
And it just keeps going on like that. The whole fucking book, dude. Oh, that's it. It's his dick is leading him around. He gets to the point where he's like, I feel so bad for my girlfriend, but oh my god, I'm so horny. And it's like, oh my god. And she keeps progressively doing worse and worse shit to him. And I was actually kind of enjoying the just stupid ride of it. And then the fucking ending happens, and I'm just gonna spoil it. Bitch is dead.
No!
It's his dead girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah, and then he dies, and then he comes back and kills his sweet girlfriend. Yep, that's it. Fuck it. Shitty ending.
The good girl dies? That's crazy.
Dude, yeah, then the sweet girl gets fucking strangled to death by his corpse.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's like, dude, she did nothing wrong.
Whoa.
Fucking men.
Those are the ones that get strangled.
Dude, I feel like, yeah, out of all these Fear Street books I've read so far, it's literally just the douchebags and their dicks are leading them around the whole time. And it's like, well, I mean, that's kind of fucking teenage men, but I don't know. I had a fun time through it until I got to the ending. 2 out of 5 stars. Don't recommend it. Fucking pick it up at thrift store if you want it.
All right.
Putting teenage and men together.
Okay, whatever. Teenage boys. Yeah. I'm just frustrated about the book. It fucking sucked. I was like, I spent so much time reading it, and then I got to the end, and I'm like, well, that was a waste of fucking
See,
2
if you
days.
had done it with Audible, you wouldn't feel so bad because
There's
you're not
no
working.
Audible on
you're not
Fear
working
Street
as
books.
hard.
I don't think there is.
Hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Babe, what you got?
Oh, I've got so many. My notes are long as fuck, dude.
Way to go.
Okay, let's start with the shorter stuff. So I'll start with Silas's recommendation. And also, this one is free. It's called Where the Monsters Live by Duncan Ralston. I read it on Kindle, and it is free to download.
Yeah.
This one, I don't have long notes. I just thought this book was extremely dark and sad. And the more I read it, the more it broke my heart. The amount of damage that a rape did not just to the victim, but also to the families, is insane, and it's heartbreaking to see how far a parent feels like they have to go to make sure their children are safe. Because this book is about a father whose daughter gets raped, and he goes out and leaves his family to find the rapist, and leads him to living under a bridge for however long and just doing crazy shit to find the rapist. And I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but
Sometimes
I thought it was a great book, and it's also only 70 pages long, so it's not a long read either.
Yeah.
And the descriptions are awful. They're good, but it's awful to have to read that.
Yeah, after Silas talked about it, I looked it up and realized that I already had it downloaded on my Kindle app.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It was a really good read, though. I really enjoyed it. And it also does give you another little short, like, it gives you like a little teaser of one of his other books called Baby Teeth, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't read the couple chapters of that, but so you get a little teaser as well.
Okay.
Of a different one. I'll put together the other short one I read with this one. And then I had actually downloaded 100% Match for the first episode that I never ended up on. I finally listened to it. That book is only an hour and like 15 minutes, I think. But that is the most batshit fucking crazy thing I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
What? There are so many things going on in that man's life. The way he just glides over certain aspects of his life,
like
the freaking, like the kid in his basement. He just like he's talking about his day, and he gets to the end of his day, and he's like, "Yep." And then I killed the kid in my basement, and then it's just like new day, and I'm like, "Wait!" I'm like verbally out loud at my job saying, "Wait, what? What do you mean? What the fuck?"
I know. I was like, did I miss something? Did he talk about this kid already? No.
Yeah.
No, it's just that one little line.
Or like the other thing he said was like he was talking about how he was having a hard time to going to sleep, and he's like, yeah, so I just put my thumb up my ass for 50 seconds, and then I went to bed, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Again, what are you talking about? Like that's fucking what the fuck?
It's like every chapter ends with a crazy sentence like that.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I made the mistake, like I told you, Lisa, I had this Audible playing out loud on loud at my work with my homeowner right on the other side of the door.
Yeah.
So he's talking about ball sacks and peckers and sticking thumbs up his ass and killing people and all this shit. And I'm just like, oh, or like throwing dog shit into the burgers at his work. And I'm just like, oh. Like, what? No wonder you can't find a girlfriend, man. Like, what is wrong with you? Go get therapy. Holy shit. I couldn't fucking believe that. Oh, and I listened to that on Audible as well.
Okay.
Most of my things, I think every single one is going to be on Audible this time.
Okay.
So I was trying to pound them out.
Yeah.
That was Lisa's recommendation.
Yeah.
A while ago.
Yeah.
Very much recommend.
Yeah, you guys
very much
need
recommend
to read Queen Boss Slay.
I know. I really want to.
Yeah, he told me about that.
I think it's better.
Okay,
I was kind of expecting it maybe a little better because it's like it seemed like 100% Match was really just a lead up to get to this character.
Yeah, I think Queen Boss Slay actually has like a story, whereas 100% Match is just how much fucked up shit can we throw in this short little book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is that it for you, Brianna?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll just mash a bunch together.
Chris, do you have anything you want to talk about?
I read the user manual for Whirlpool washing machine. You know, I try to do my own repairs when I can. You know, in this economy, you gotta pinch every penny. And I would like to report that I successfully fixed my washing machine, and I think you can too. A lot of things are pretty easy. So, you know, I'll just get you a little simple toolkit, throw you on a YouTube video, and get your shit fixed. You can do it. I've got faith in you. A little tip When you tip that motherfucking washing machine over, it's probably got water in it, and it's gonna go goddamn everywhere. So have you a little bucket? Because I did not.
Yeah.
It's still wet in that bitch.
So would you recommend the user manual?
I would. It probably says something like, "Hey, get you a bucket." I like
What's
to
up,
read.
James?
Okay. Hey, I just texted Sunny. I wanted to make sure that this was correct because when you were talking about that book, Brianna, it sounded very, very familiar.
Uh-huh.
If you want Sunny's review of 100% Match, it will be on tomorrow's episode
Hell yeah.
Okay, cool.
because she read it
Hell
as well.
yeah. Also, kudos to Chris being on that man shit.
Yeah.
Taking care
Right.
of shit, getting the job done.
Yeah. He's all right sometimes.
Hell yeah.
He's got one-offs every year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think that's it for me. Lisa, what the fuck are you reading?
Okay. I guess I'll start with Real Bad Things by Kelly J. Ford. And I read this on Kindle Unlimited. It was a Pride Month pick.
Woo!
So, so Jane has an abusive stepdad, and he disappears. And she's a teenager. Her stepdad disappears, and after a few days, the whole town just kind of thinks maybe he got drunk and wandered out into the river. They're in like this small Arkansas town that's by a river. So the whole town's like, oh, he just got drunk and wandered out into the river because
Hey, that's how
lots
it goes.
of men have apparently been lost in this river over the years.
Been there.
And so after a few days, Jane comes forward and confesses to the crime, says that she killed her stepdad. And they put her in juvie for a very short period of time. And then they say, well, we can't find the body, so we're going to let you go. Because, you know, in the words of Taylor Swift, no body, no crime.
Oh my goodness.
So
Hell yeah.
she moves
No
away.
face, no case.
So she moves away to Boston. She goes on with her life. 25 years later, the river like floods and they find the body of her stepdad. So she's going to come back into town and, you know, face her punishment. She gets back into town and the whole town has now nicknamed her Leslie Borden.
Whoa.
Whoa.
That's
That
cool.
rocks.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Rocks.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's way better than Slashy Ashy, dude.
Yeah, it's fucking gold.
And so they're trying to figure out like who her girlfriend was when she was a teenager, because obviously the girlfriend helped her, they think. And her mom is a complete bitch and is like, you need to go to prison and like get the death penalty. Like, you need to be punished for killing this guy. Because I loved him, even though he was a piece of shit and was abusive to you and your brother. So
Shit.
it's just her trying to take responsibility, and the whole town all has their own secrets, and you know, maybe she wasn't actually the one to blame.
Oh.
Dun dun dun.
So
Yeah, she's a woman. Of course she's to blame.
fuck you, Chris. There are other women involved.
Oh, yeah. So
Can you actually repeat the title of that one more time for me? I was trying to
Real Bad
quiet down the guy
Things.
upstairs. Real bad.
Yeah, Real Bad Things by Kelly J. Ford.
Kelly J.
I rated this 3.5 stars. It was fine. It wasn't amazing. I guess that's it. So, Silas?
Okay.
I think
Round
I'm
two.
just going to go in the order that I actually read through these. So my second one was also a Spotify audiobook. It's not really exactly a recommendation, but I just chose to pick out a book by this author because of Zach talking about Joyce Carol Oates and how much he liked her stuff. And so I went with the one that was the shortest. I figured I could fit the audiobook hours into and not get cut off for the month on Spotify. And that was Daddy Love by Joyce Carol Oates.
Oh.
And this one was pretty fucking wild. It definitely gave me that feeling I was looking for in something that was not in the like gratuitous, like splatterpunky horror kind of genre. It was like very similar to the feelings I got reading The Girl Next Door by Jack Ketchum. Honestly, this was... I don't use this term loosely. It just, for me specifically, this was a pretty fucking triggering read, dude.
Okay.
Because even though the situations in it are very extreme and over the top, the nuances of the way that Joyce Carol Oates writes about child psychology in the wake of trauma and kind of the wider societal impacts of that trauma on the people around the situation is so nuanced and so grounded and so real. And it was just so stark. It's one of those like crazed character study kind of things in a lot of ways, which is right up my alley. In the main antagonist, Daddy Love, who is a priest with a megalomaniacal pedophile streak, who kidnaps kids and is so unassuming and so manipulative and conniving that he manages, if they're ever seen with him, to convince people that they are distant relatives or kids from a marriage gone awry that he's separated from, or something like that. Like he'll do anything in his power to make it where people don't know what's actually going on. And he has killed, I think, like somewhere between like 3 and 5 kids at the point that he's at in this book, where he takes this child. Sometimes it feels slightly on the nose, but that's okay. I think this came out in like the 90s. So it's, it's got a little bit in terms of like caricatured kind of contrivances as far as some of the character stuff goes, but I wasn't mad about it. There is a part where there's a lot of back and forth in this, where it switches between Daddy Love, it switches between his child victim who he kidnaps at the start of the book, and it switches between the mother who is just dealing with having a missing kid for years and years at home, and her husband becomes very like kind of absent and copes in his own way, which is infidelity and alcoholism, and she kind of loses her mind and just becomes very like inward and does anything she can to cope, which turns to not a very pointed like, oh, I am like quite literally a Christian, but there's like a religious, like a religiosity or like forced spirituality element, as far as like, which you see in a lot of like extreme trauma victims, where it's like they just turn into these kind of shells of their former self, where their personality is completely subsumed by just trying to move through and move on day by day, and using any kind of a coping mechanism to just not completely unravel, And she also has this awful narcissistic bitch of a mother who is just constantly going out of her way to like interview with news outlets about the situation and like put a spotlight on herself. And there's a point where her nails are described as red talons, and I loved that quite a bit.
Yeah.
man, Daddy Love refers to training the child as like training an animal. Essentially, he takes this child when he's 5 in like a shopping mall parking lot, and he like bricks the mom over the back of the head, and then like hits her more and like permanently disfigures her face. Takes her 5-year-old son and then like brainwashes him. It's really, really dark stuff. There's a lot of rumination and pretty pointed and pretty psychologically informed thinking on like the immediate damage and the traumatic redirection that can happen in a child's mind if anything like this were to happen, and just like the constant kind of spiderwebbing effects of an event like this on their psyche as the continuum of their life experiences continues to compound those events. Joyce Carol Oates seems extremely clued in on these things, and I can only imagine because she has been writing about the subject matter her entire career and is continuing to into her 90s, that she must have had a lot of personal and like firsthand experience with these sorts of things, and is probably a true crime aficionado as a way of like control and cope as far as like researching these types of crimes and these types of maladies on society. At least that's what I got from this book, because she is just so on the money with all of her observations and the way that she writes these characters, and it's just really it's really unfortunate and really stark, but it's there. Let me see. Oh, this also included the disturbing child drawing trope, which is one of my favorite things in horror media, because the son, once he becomes school age, Daddy Love can't get away with just keeping him out of school and has to send him to public school at some point. And he's very quiet. He barely talks to anybody, barely emotes, because he's so inward in order to like not be beaten and raped by this guy like at every turn. And the only way that anything comes out is in like art classes or like art times, where he like just has to sit down and draw whatever he wants on construction paper, and he draws some like scary shit. And that is like the only clue to what's going on for anybody around him, which they don't pick up on, they don't do anything about. So that's
God.
cool. He also starts to the child, Gideon, he also starts to exhibit really fucked up behaviors, and starts going around his town once he's given some agency, because he's starting to reach the age where Daddy Love is no longer interested in him, because his pedophilic range kind of ends around like 12 or 13. And as he's getting older, he's given more reign, and he trusts that he's not going to do anything, because he's been taken far and far away, removed from his family for so long. He's just riding around on a bicycle all day, and he starts committing small acts of arson because he needs an outlet for the feelings, I guess. You know, it's crazy because you're getting this in chapters where it's from his perspective, and he doesn't even really know why he's doing anything he's doing. And that's what's so fucked up about it, is because it's so real. It's so real. It's really, really disturbing stuff. But yeah, also Joyce Carol Oates has an extremely adept understanding of traumatic intelligence, where Gideon is very behind in most aspects of his school life, and he really underperforms in a lot of ways, but his teachers are extremely perplexed because he seems so wise beyond his years and like some sort of like a stoic old soul, because he knows how to survive, and that's all he knows. And so the idea of the traumatic intelligence that a lot of people and abuse victims and survivors go through is she just hits the nail on the head with that concept in this, and it's really, really well written, but it just makes it that much more disturbing.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sorry, I had a lot on this one. Really probes at the oftentimes kind of mixed emotions of abuse, and the masking and dealing with benign external triggers and stimuli that can send you into a tailspin, but you're not allowed to act on or react to it in any way because it's not socially normal. And that's something that Gideon, which is not even his name is Gideon because Daddy Love gave him the name Gideon.
Yeah.
But he responds in these ways where it's like there are like little things that happen in daily life at school where something is almost like a trigger or like a slight to him, and he wants to explode with rage, but he can't do anything because if he gets in trouble at school, he'll be beaten and raped. So like he can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it it mirrors real life responses to unresolved trauma and kind of the neural pathways that are created in the fallout of it. Yeah, he develops all the destructive tendencies like I was talking about. There's a lot of crazy stuff in here regarding like kind of derealization and masking and compartmentalization, because at some point as Gideon develops, you see that there is this split in him where it's as if he has literally two personas that exist simultaneously. There is like the inward real him that is kind of monologuing these thoughts in his chapters, and then the outward one that is so carefully constructed for the sake of not, having terror wrought onto him by Daddy Love, that he becomes like this perfect boy. And I think he just refers to him as the boy. And he refers to it as a separate person in his chapters. It's not even him. It's like it's such a facade that's so removed from his real personhood and his attempts to psychologically protect himself that it's as if he is completely depersonalized when he's acting in this way as an affront. Really, really, really scary stuff. He starts to take on like misogynistic thoughts and characteristics about women because of Daddy Love, and that's fucking dark. Awful, very sparing descriptions of the rapes. There's just enough there to like really hurt you reading it, but it's not in any way gratuitous or overt or graphic. It's just enough to really get to your core, like just like listening to just the way it's described in this weird, almost like ethereal like sense of treatment to it. It's really scary stuff. Really hard to stomach a lot of the realities of post-trauma in the mother and the father in this, because their coping mechanisms are so awful, and it just really just like destroys their marriage, and before you get some insight into them, and they were like a great happy couple, really like progressive, interesting, like kind of bohemian lifestyle sort of views. They were like really excited about having a son and really excited about like trying to like raise him right and let him like really be a full person and develop in the personhood, and like challenging and teaching him like at an extremely young age so that he was hyper intelligent and adept, more so than his peers. And it just makes it hurt that much harder that they are the subjects of this case, in the story. But yeah, Grace Carol Oates is most certainly somebody who understands the subject matter, and the amount of things in this that mirror real world true crime instances makes it feel as if at times it felt like I was reading a fucking Peter Sotos book. Like she just understands the subject in ways that are like so harrowingly dark. Like it's fucking crazy. There's also even mentions in this on her end, which it's really interesting. It reminds me of stuff I see all the time in real life, especially with women who've gone through a really traumatic event, where she at some point turns to vegetarianism because the idea of meat becomes like a visceral trigger. And I've seen that a lot in real world cases as well. And I thought that was just everything that she writes in this is so informed that it just really adds to how grounded and fully rounded the world of this story feels. Which, just in turn makes it that much more visceral to read because it feels like something that you saw on the goddamn news. Like it feels so real. My only nitpick, if any, really in this was that Daddy Love sort of drops the intensity of his religiosity element later on in the book. Almost like, in a way, it was just like a masking thing for him toward the beginning or something. But like, in the beginning, it felt like he was very genuinely that person. It felt like he was so fucking crazy that, like, in his head, he actually created a hierarchy of morality where he thought that what he was doing was somehow part of this grand, like, prophecy, like, messianic complex sort of a plan that he had, right? He kind of drops a lot of that later on, and I don't think that was a mistake. I just think that maybe it's just because he's losing interest in the kid, because he always kills them when they reach, like, teen years.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was on purpose, now that I'm even thinking it through verbally. But, yeah, I don't want to give away the ending of the book, but the main crux of it seems to be, even when the characters escape the danger of actually being in the situation, there is just this complete loss of agency and this complete loss of autonomy that still is like a major facet of their psyche and puts them in situations where they could easily fall into a really bad situation again without being, like, protected by somebody who knew better to help them steer clear of it, just because of how young the boy was when that initially happened to him. And that was such a stark fucking ending. God damn it. This one stuck with me for days after finishing it, but it was an impeccably well-written book. And I will definitely check out more of her catalog, but I'm going to have to be a little careful with when I do it, because if I'm not in the right place, bad stuff all around. But goddamn, was it a good fucking book. But yeah, that was Daddy Love by Joyce Carol Oates.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
What about you, James?
Okay, so this one will be a little bit less emotionally charged than the last one.
Okay.
And this one I did finish.
Okay.
So this one is not bad for a human. It is Lance Hendrickson's semi-autobiography. It's written by Lance Hendrickson and Joseph Madre. And if anybody isn't familiar with who Lance Hendrickson is, it's probably because you don't watch a lot of movies. He was pretty famously in Terminator and Aliens, The Right Stuff. Well, he was in pretty much all the Alien movies after Aliens, except for I don't think he was in that really stupid one that Joss Whedon wrote. What was that one? Resurrection. Yeah, I don't think he was in Resurrection. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But he's been in so many genre films, especially like military science fiction type stuff and horror and things like that. But he was one of my favorite actors growing up. He, along with Michael Biehn, which Michael Bihn's my all-time favorite actor. I really wish he had an autobiography, but I so far haven't been able to find one. But it was really interesting to read because of where he came from. He didn't have a great life growing up. A lot of abandonment issues from his parents. He never really learned how to read. He went into and then got kicked out of the military. He was not a very good military person. Navy. I believe it was Navy. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Navy. Which didn't last long. I think he was in for only like 6 months and went AWOL. But he eventually ended up just doing stage acting gigs, and that's kind of actually how he taught himself to read, was by learning scripts. Because he legitimately, literally did not know how to read. And he ended up, I think his big break, if I recall correctly, was in The Right Stuff. And then he, like I said, he would go on to do some of those other films. But it was really, really interesting. And I'm always terrified because they always say, don't meet your heroes because they will disappoint you. And so I'm always kind of a little bit afraid to listen to podcasts, to read biographies and stuff like that. Like Michael Biehn, for instance, he has a podcast, and I was terrified to listen to it because I was like, oh God, he's going to be MAGA. He is definitely not. Yeah, he is.
Why is that
definitely
such
not.
a fucking trend with these guys? God damn it! As they get older,
but and luckily neither is Lance Hendrickson. Lance Hendrickson speaks a lot about his disdain for religion and religious types, religious people who use it kind of as a crutch for bad behavior and things like that, for an excuse and stuff. So he talks a little bit about that in the book. Well, okay, so I have I marked a page in here because I wanted to read you guys something, because this is one of the coolest stories I think I've ever read. And this was part, so the book is, what?
I'm really glad that you're doing that, James, because I'm going to read from something later, too.
Oh, yeah. Well, so the book was half written by Lance Hendrickson and half written by Joseph Maddrey. And this was one of the parts that Joseph Maddrey wrote. And it's actually early in the book, before he really gets into conversations. This is from the introduction. So this is before he gets into conversations with Lance, and he's actually talking to other people, gathering up kind of some background information and stuff. So apparently he had interviewed Philip Kaufman for this book, of course, who's the director of The Right Stuff. And he said, Philip Kaufman, director of The Right Stuff, vividly recalls a moment when he was unable to distinguish between real-life actor and Hollywood myth. It happened at the end of a very hot evening in Napa Valley when his guests were leaving a dinner party. As they approached their vehicles, Kaufman remembers Hendrickson heard an ominous rattling sound and sprung into action. With a cigarette in his mouth, Lance casually walked over to the truck, picked up a long stick, uncoiled the snake, hit it on the head, and killed it. Then he straightened out the dead snake and said to Akira Kurosawa's son, who was also visiting us, "Here is a gift for your father."
That's fucking crazy, dude.
That is one of the coolest fucking stories I had ever heard in my life.
Yeah, goddamn, that's wild.
I read that in the introduction, and from that moment on, I was fucking sold.
Yeah.
And the book itself is actually really well written, and it's very entertaining. Like, it's not boring at all. Even when he's talking about boring shit, like his time in the military, which went awry and all that stuff. Even when he's talking about boring shit, the book itself is never boring. It's actually really, really well written.
It looks,
I would highly recommend that one.
Looks pretty breezy, too. It's not a super thick book.
It is 200. That's the bibliography. 280 pages.
Yeah, that's not too bad for a biography.
No.
For a famous
not
person.
Not at all. Yeah. So that's all I have. So I think Bones is next.
So I'm jumping out of my reading order for sure. And also, fuck you, Matt, if you're listening, because I didn't talk to you enough about this, and I was gonna wait till you were on the episode. I thought you were coming. Fuck you.
Me too.
But to preface this started The Spire in the Woods by Tony Lunedi started as a r/no sleep story, and he just copy and pasted it into a program and put it out as a book because it was so well received. The publishing company picked it up straight off of Reddit, and the book was out for like 2 months and was so well received. Steven Spielberg found it and fucking bought the rights to it. Not the film rights, bought the whole fucking rights to the book. So him and his douchebag film company wiped it. Started sending cease and desists to fucking everybody. Took the book out of publication. The only fucking copy I could find was $3,000.
Wow.
But yeah, just as a preface to my opinions on this fucking thing.
Okay.
It starts with this narrator. It's all from his perspective, but it starts with a small town, and he's describing how it looks in the folklore of the town, and it just gets you into the fucking mood. It feels like Twin Peaks almost, and then it jumps straight into a kid's suicide, and he ghetto rigs this gun from the anarchist cookbook that's so fucking ghetto. After he blows his brains out, it explodes and sets the whole fucking car on fire. And so it's a bunch of teenagers are just staring at it, and they all think they see a woman in the car, but they only find one body. And this just fucks the whole town up for a while. And the whole town is just steeped in this like fucking crazy folklore-esque mystique, and our narrator is obsessed with ghost stories. He only has one friend who's a fat goth girl who's in love with him, and he's a douchebag. Like, it's like he's not a douche to her, but ever since she made that one move, he'll keep commenting on her cellulite and like fucking saying horrible shit about this really sweet girl. And the girl he's in love with was also the girl that the kid who killed himself was in love with. And the kid was stalking her. And the kid who killed himself left 2 suicide notes. One to the girl, who now blames herself. She is horrible. She blames herself for denying her his advances and letting him die. And, oh my God. And his best friend is also best friend with the other kid, so he gets a suicide note as well. But at the bottom of the suicide note, there's some cryptic wording. It's something about we all run around the same machine. And the girl who he's in love with comes to him to try to figure it out because they all think it's a part of his ghost story. And his goth girlfriend knows what it's from. And it's from an old town legend about a clockmaker who lived there. And his wife was cheating on him, and he wanted to just make the most beautiful clock possible. He was just done with life. He just didn't even give a fuck that he was a cuck, and just decided to make this clock and then kill the husband, the mistress, kind of mistress. I don't remember what the male version is, but kill his wife and the dude she was sleeping with and put them into the clock as automatons and go show it to all the village kids. And it goes well for a couple weeks, and then they start rotting, and obviously he gets found out. But they figure out it's from this story, and they basically just try to figure out where the spire in the woods is that holds the clock, because the kid who killed himself found it, and he was going slowly crazy and crazier. And I'll just fucking leave it there. I mean, it probably sounds all over the place from what I'm saying it, but it was so good. I was blown away, and it reminded me weirdly a lot of Lolita by Vladimir Nabokov, because it's only based off of his perspective, and he's such an unreliable narrator and not a good person at all, but he thinks he's a good person. And, oh my God, by the end of it, I was so broken. I fucking sat in my car and cried. Like, it was so fucked up. And if Spielberg ever makes this, he's gonna destroy it. It's not a movie he could do. And he made
what was it called?
The Spire in the Woods.
The Spire in the Woods. Okay.
Yeah. So again, fuck you, Matt. I had to listen to it from Creepcast, Papa Meat's fucking podcast with Wendigoon. So they spoke halfway through it, but I actually was really thankful that I listened to it like that so I could get breaks in between, because I needed breaks.
Yeah.
It kept getting so fucked up, and I was not prepared for it. And but yeah, since it's wiped off the face of the planet because fuck Spielberg, you can listen to it off of Creepcast, or fucking apparently on SoundCloud there's a fucking audiobook of it. But that is it. That is all you could find of it.
Wow.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah. But it is absolutely wonderful. The ending was, I thought the ending was fine. Most people think the ending's not great, but it comes to the point to where even though the town is so steeped in the folklore, and it, like, the story itself almost becomes folklore, but it's so grounded in the human aspect of it, and just fuck me, teenage boys are monsters. Yeah, it's good. I fully recommend it if you could dig it out of the fucking abyss that Spielberg ruined it. Like, yeah, fucking 5 out of 5 is one of my favorite things I've ever listened to. It blew me away.
Hell yeah.
But yeah,
Hell yeah.
baby.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to do. I don't even want to touch that one after the way you talked about Joyce Carol Oates on us. Like, I don't even want to touch that book now. You talk so highly of her, and the book I read, I was like...
Yeah. Brianna and I weren't that impressed with the book we read.
So I guess I'll do it because then
the first one that I've ever read, so I don't know anything about the rest of her audio work.
Go ahead and say it. I love conflicting.
I will. Just because then I think Lisa can hop on after me and say her piece on it as well. So we both read Pursuit by Joyce Carol Oates. I listened to it on Audible. It's not that it was bad. I think it was it was okay. I also have a really hard time with timelines. Brock can attest to this. It doesn't work for me. My brain can't switch like that.
Yeah.
Whether I'm watching it on a movie or reading it, it just takes me a minute to grasp it. I do think the details were very well done. What was it even about? This book. Like, I was so confused for so much of it.
Yeah, like the girl felt like her life was going too well, so she decided to step out in front of a bus.
Yeah. That's
and
how
that
it starts.
Was like the main, like that's what you think the main story is going to be.
Exactly.
And
it's not.
It's not.
It's not. And then, like, the timeline switches to when she was a kid and her parents had gone missing and no one found them, which is crazy because of how freaking close they were. So, like, I'm sorry. They're, like, what, maybe 50, 60 feet away from where they used to live?
Yeah, something like that.
And no one found
she
them.
She was out walking as a little kid, like...
And found them, yeah.
Yeah.
It was...
So that was my big problem with the book was like we spent so much time on the parents. I thought it was a book about the girl herself, but we spent so much time with the parents' story. We didn't really get enough of the main girl's story.
Yeah. And then they tie it in because she's the little girl that ended up finding her parents. That's like the tie-in is the girl that they start off with is her as a grown woman. And everything. And then they like randomly switch and then randomly switch back to then now her husband and her going to try and find the bodies of her parents or some shit.
Yeah.
It was very strange, very well done. Like oddly done. And it was confusing and it was hard to grasp. I mean, her writing isn't bad. I just think that one could have been tweaked and done a little better.
Yeah.
Because I strained a lot trying to understand what was happening. But her descriptions and like I'm a huge person for descriptive detail, making me feel like I can be there, making me smell what's around me, making me be able to see it. Like I want to be able to feel like I can reach out and touch whatever you're describing or smell and see it in my face. And that's one thing I can say I loved about this book is I could picture everything. I could picture the bodies in the grass. I could picture the house that she grew up in and the bus that hit her, you know, like all these different things. And so I think she did really well in that. I just think this one maybe could have had a little more tweaking to it.
Yeah.
That was a Zach recommendation, by the way.
Yeah. Pursuit by Joyce Carol Oates. Recommended by Zach.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Zach.
Yeah, I mean, I'll add to that, like, I did think her writing was good. Like I said, I just had a problem with, like, I didn't realize it was going to be basically just her parents' story.
Exactly.
If I would have went into it knowing that, I probably would have liked it more.
I agree completely.
I think the writing was really good. And, like, the way she described the dad with, like, all of his obvious, like, PTSD stuff.
Yep.
And it's not, like, overtly pedophilic. But there are some, like, weird little things that make you question, like, is her dad doing things to her?
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I don't think I'll say much about it because I just kind of jumped in with Brianna's. I gave it 3 stars. I mean, it wasn't bad. It just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
I literally I told Zach an ending I made up. Hold on. Sorry, I totally forgot about this whole part of the thing. Where is it? Okay. I made up a different ending, which I think also kind of hurt the story for it because I had my own ending. Because I was so used to, I listened to a different book from you, which I'll mention later, but I was used to like the whodunits kind of thing, or like where there could be a twist. Yeah. There was no fucking twist. Yeah. So I like made up a thing where it was like, maybe it was actually she killed her daughter and then like took on her identity and was like the beginning was like her new life as the mother, and the daughter and the husband were actually the ones that were dead in the field, and she made up like this whole thing in her head. Yeah. Obviously it was not that, but that would have been cool. I would have had a good time with that.
Oh man. I guess the book I'll talk about is The Good Samaritan by John Mars. I love John Mars. Every book I read from him is so good. So this one is about Laura, and she works at a place called The End of the Line. She volunteers at a place called The End of the Line, which is basically a suicide hotline. But it's the UK, and everything's weird there. Yeah. And they're like, you can't encourage them to not commit suicide. Like, you can't talk them out of it.
What?
Like,
whoa.
You're just there to listen. Like, you can't tell them not to do it, and you can't, like, tell them to do it. You're just there to listen.
What?
But Laura, Laura has her own ideas. And when she finds someone she deems worthy of her help, she helps them kill themselves, basically.
Hell yeah.
Dude, I need to read this already.
Giving the guys the push they need to just go into that afterlife. Just go, buddy. Follow the light.
And so it's kind of an unreliable narrator situation with her too, because she really thinks she's helping. She thinks that she is here to help people. She's like, I've thought about killing myself all these times, but like, I just go lean over the railing of this building, and like, if the rail holds, that means that God still wants me here to help people.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
dude,
like,
I do that all the time.
She really, like, in her mind, she's doing the good thing for these people. And she has all these rules for them and, like, timelines. Like, from the time you decide you're going to kill yourself, you have, like, 5 weeks to get all your shit in order and get it planned out. Half the book is also told through the perspective of a family member of one of her victims. And I think he's also struggling mentally. So they're both just kind of crazy people. And, craziness ensues. Um,
I can get on board with that.
Dude, that sounds fucking awesome.
it was a really good
Example.
book.
That's good. I kept writing the bad.
Yeah, that does sound awesome.
The bad spirit.
I think that's all I want to say about it because I don't want to like ruin anything. I gave it 4.5 stars.
Ooh.
And it's on Kindle Unlimited. That's where I read it. So
It's hard to talk about books that like none of us have read together because we don't want to ruin anything in case someone else wants to read it.
and it's one
Dude,
of those that's like there's twists, and so like I don't want to give away any of the twists, you know.
Dude, next episode we
That's
do
what I
need
want.
to do like a fucking book of the month, like
The bug collector.
The
all of us
bug collector, I
read
think
it.
we're gonna do.
We should do that.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
reread it. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, Silas, what's your next book?
I think here my next one is The Lollipop Man by Kevin Sweeney.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is a UK based kind of like splatterpunk extreme horror book. I actually have this one physically. I had gotten a Amazon gift card, like a little prepaid thing for Christmas one year, and it had like $15 on it. I was like, I want to see what I can grab because I want to start reading some more splatterpunk stuff. And I think I had gotten like 2 books out of it, and this was one of them. I hadn't gotten around to it for quite a while. It's just been sitting on the shelf, and I was like, I should really finally read this and get through it for a book episode. It is 163 pages in total, but that's including like a author's note that's like 4 or 5 pages. Pretty easy breezy kind of thing.
Okay.
It
Did you show us the cover? I want to see the cover.
Oh, I did not. This is the
Oh.
cover.
Okay.
Oh, I think I saw that while I was there. Yeah.
That's kind of cool looking.
Yeah. Let's see. First off, I did think, unfortunately, it's just kind of comes with the territory with the genre, and I get that. But this did have a lot of glaring issues with sentence structure and grammar kind of stuff laced throughout. It wasn't egregious. It wasn't like constant. It was just like, wow, this really needed a passover by an editor
Mm-hmm.
before it went to print. And I put like some glaring issues with sentence structure and grammar laced throughout, but what's new, right? was my note as far as these kind of books go, but that's okay. Had some pretty decent gore scenes laced throughout, some really silly and crude sex stuff with questionable specifics, which seemed pretty much just mostly played for laughs. It seemed like a very tongue-in-cheek and self-aware book in a lot of ways with the tone. It never felt overly serious until the end, but we'll get there. So it mainly follows this one girl and her group. She's pretty young. She's like college age, like 20 to 22 or something. And all of her grade school friends are starting to drop fucking dead. But not in just weird, silly little, like, oh, they disappeared kind of ways. They're being found, like, fucking butchered. And she's like, oh, these are all the kids I used to walk to school with when I was a kid. What the hell's going on here?
Wow.
So it is one of those pretty contrived and just like done to death, beating a dead horse kind of like slasher plotline sort of books, stalker killer kind of stuff. But I love that stuff. I love that sort of like pulp fiction type of thing, and I like it a lot in like teen novels like R.L. Stine stuff and the like. But it was interesting seeing it done in such an adult way in this, even though it was also like kind of comedic. There's a part in it with like a gay fetish club that was fucking awesome. Just like the most ridiculous, over the top sex and gore stuff happens in that sequence of the book, and it was just so good. I was just like, having so much fun reading through it with like a big shit-eating grin on my face because I was just like so thoroughly entertained by just the raunchy depravity of the whole situation. It was such a good sequence. But yeah, if you like classic slasher stories, it's a pretty enticing structure. I will say, as far as these kinds of books go, I think the pacing of the story itself is engaging and is pretty well written. They actually Kevin obviously put care into making this thing, you know, actually feel like a nicely executed story and not just like escalating nonsense and fucked up stuff until abrupt ending or whatever. It actually feels like a real book, which is super cool. I do think it took me a bit long to get hooked. It was probably in the first third of the book or so that I had gotten through before I was just like, okay, I'm like locked in now. But that might just be like my own trepidation when it comes to certain indie outings, especially once I get like a lot of bad grammar and like weird shit I have to reread a few times at the very beginning of the book. That's like one of those things where it's like, I think it puts a guard or a shield up that I had to like get past. But once I got through like the first third, I was just like, okay, I can meet this halfway. I'm having fun now. Yeah, I got pretty enthralled in the latter 2/3 of it. Lots of really interesting UK slang to learn all throughout it. I thought it was like a lot of fun actually to contextually figure out most words, and then once I got one that would like stump me because they just breezed past it, I stopped to look it up, and that was actually a fun experience as part of reading this. I actually liked it a lot. There's a game of Exquisite Corpse played in the book, which is my favorite parlor game, because it's art related, and I thought it was super fun to see that in a book. The last 30 pages or so were fucking stellar, and god damn, did they just put the fucking pedal to the metal on the intensity and just the sheer like dourness of the situation for that fucking climax, man. It was crazy. But yeah, like I said, it desperately needed a revision or an edit. Someone needs to pay an editor to get that thing cut to what it needs to be, because if some of that weirdness with the bad grammar and stuff in there is like cleaned up, I think this could be a really strong little book. Really well crafted, memorable moments, stuff that's probably going to stick with me when I think of this genre for books to come, which is super cool because a lot of that stuff can easily just kind of blend together, you know. There's only so many tricks you can pull from your sleeve for like this type of content. I think this one had memorable moments though. Genuinely entertaining, and I can easily recommend it because it's also pretty easy breezy and pretty short. And as far as extreme horror goes, I think it delivered the goods while still maintaining a bit of a sense of that like tasteful restraint that I like to see as far as how intense it's willing to go when it's like actually trying to be affectingly dour and not just like silly.
Yeah.
And the ending is effectively and affectingly dour. It's not nearly as silly as the rest of the book. So yeah, last 30 pages fucking rocked. Definitely recommend it if you're into this kind of stuff. The Lollipop Band by Kevin Sweeney.
Hell yeah.
What about you, James?
Okay, so like I said, there's going to be some things that I don't talk very in depth about, and this is one of them, because it is The Devil's Notebook by Anton, Szander, Lavey.
Okay.
I've read a lot of Lavey's stuff. He's well, this one is basically just a collection of essays. That's all it is. It's just a bunch of essays, observational stuff about the nature of society, humanity, etc., etc. But I've read, well, I don't want to say most of his other works, but because I haven't read The Satanic Witch or any of those, because those are just basically instruction manuals for ritual and whatnot. But I like this kind of thing. I like the philosophical side of everything. His writings are sometimes a little, I don't want to use the word pretentious, but he can be somewhat self-absorbed, and he is definitely a showman. He kind of
Oh,
saw
yeah.
himself as, he kind of saw himself as like another P.T. Barnum type of individual and stuff. But I still
definitely
really appreciate
gotten those vibes.
Yeah, but I still really appreciate some of the stuff that he puts into these, specifically into this one and Satan Speaks, because they're basically just collections of essays. A lot less pompous, I guess you would say. But he does have a very strange and odd sense of humor that I really appreciate. And I love the fact that right smack dab in the middle of the book, literally, right after there was a chapter called Music for the Ritual Chamber, which was an essay on just that. And so right smack dab in the middle of the book, he put the hymn of the Satanic Empire.
Oh,
And
nice.
I find that hilarious. Like I saw the humor in that. I actually thought that was pretty funny. That he would put that in there. But I always preferred Peter Gilmore to. He's of course the current Black Pope, the head of the Church of Satan. I always kind of preferred his. I've seen him in interviews and podcasts and all that. I've never read the Satanic Scriptures, which is his only book. But I've always kind of preferred listening to him over Lavey. So I would like to delve a little bit deeper into. I've read a lot of Left Hand Path stuff, Michael Ford, Lavey, and I want to read Gilmore. But I was going to juxtapose this with another book that was actually from it's another philosophical book, but from a Christian author. So I was going to put the two together and talk about them at the same time. Isn't that what we're supposed to believe is the one that's written by Don Alexander? He was actually the minister at my church when I was growing up and was very instrumental into my own spiritual journey, which is hilarious considering the fact that I don't really consider myself much of a Christian anymore. But I've read it before. I've read it several times because it's very different than what you would expect from a Christian minister, let alone Christian author, because it's the kind of book that he wrote specifically to make you question things, which I thought was very cool. So he was much more of a James Tallarico type than an evangelical. But I didn't get around to reading it, so I thought it would be wildly inappropriate to talk about it now in depth. But I was going to juxtapose the two. So maybe next time I will finish Satan Speaks and that one and maybe talk about them at the same time. Because that's kind of what I wanted to do, but I just didn't get around to it. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Gilmore is definitely a lot better than Lavey because, like you said, Lavey's just kind of a pompous fucking asshole, dude.
He is. Well, and I think part of the problem with Lavey is that he never really bought into his bullshit either.
No, he didn't. And at the end, he was just trying to get money.
Yeah. Well, to him, it was all performative. And that's all it was performative. And I think a lot of the things that he did and said, he just thought were funny. And like I said, I kind of appreciate his sense of humor in that aspect. But at the same time, there are other people who may or may not wear red hats who also say a lot of shit that they think is funny. And so like you said, I do appreciate Gilmore a lot. And Gilmore just seems like this really cool, like grandfatherly figure. You know, every time I see him in an interview or on a podcast or whenever they actually had a satanic mass here in Oklahoma City and it wasn't the Satanic Temple. It was like legit Church of Satan shit. Gilmore was here for that. And they did it down at the Civic Center in downtown Oklahoma City. And, which I wanted to go to so bad. This was many, many years ago. And of course, naturally, there was a shit ton of backlash because this is Oklahoma. But I was surprised. I was fucking thoroughly impressed and surprised by the amount of support that they got in addition to the backlash. So that was really, really cool. But like, I just wanted to go down there just so I could give him a hug because he looks like the kind of person that would be wonderful to give a hug to.
Yeah. Have you read any of Crowley's shit?
I tend to stay away from Crowley. not because I feel like a lot of his stuff is somewhat problematic.
Yeah.
That's not. I should because I don't like to judge things that I haven't experienced myself.
At least just the Book of the Law. I would stick to that. Yeah. And then like jump it to like fucking Strange Angel, the story of Jack Parsons, who was like good friends with Crowley, and he's the one who helped NASA with rocket fuel. Like that story's really interesting.
Yeah. And you're right. I should. I should read all of it, but especially if I'm going to speak on it. But that's why I don't speak on it. So, and plus, I don't really have a lot of time to read. So, if I'm not doing stuff for our podcast, I'm doing stuff for the store, and that's why I don't read as much as I should.
I don't blame you.
But anyways, so I'll pass it back to Bones.
Okay, let me look at my Goodreads one more time, because I'm the dumbass that doesn't take notes. Red. Oh, I'll talk about my second to least favorite. And sorry, I don't know if Silas is going to talk about him, but he has many times. But I think Jack Ketchum disappointed me as well. So I'm talking about Ladies' Night by Jack Ketchum.
All right. I haven't read that one yet.
I found it for free on YouTube on an audiobook, and it was fairly short. And I'm like, I like what I've read from Ketchum for the most part. And fucking this one, dude. They don't really get into what the chemical is or the company, but it's basically a zombie apocalypse that only affects women. And it gets weird to where like you get perspectives of them turning, and it moves into this baseline kind of thing. But then of course gets into pedophilic incesty shit. It's like, I don't know. It's like, I get why a lot of people hated this for like the misogynistic kind of reasons for it, because it did kind of feel pretty fucking misogynistic throughout half this book.
Yeah.
But it also just wasn't that entertaining. It was kind of cool because it set up as in like the beginning to the end, just one day. We're just following a small group of people, and it just jumping back and forth between one day's events of this so-called zombie apocalypse. And yeah, you got like a deadbeat dad, and in a shitty relationship, he's cheating on the wife with a hot ass girl. And yeah, there's not really much here. Like it was okay, I guess. I mean, I didn't hate it. I didn't turn it off, but I mean, it wasn't very good or very effective in most like extreme elements, or like kept my attention, because the first like 20 minutes of the audiobook is Jack Ketchum talking about, because Ladies' Night was actually supposed to be his second book, because after his first book he got a huge check to just fucking make the second book, and he gave it to his publisher, and the publisher's like, no, this is too fucked up, like take it away. And it's like, I don't fucking really see that. Like, I don't know. Off Season and Girl Next Door are way more fucked up than fucking this. I mean, the most fucked up thing about this is that fucking goddamn women. Fucking women, dude.
Fuck you, Bones.
Well, no, that was it. That was not me. That was Jack Ketchum. God damn it, blame him. Fucking women, dude. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not that long, so if you want to listen to it, listen to it. It's I wouldn't. I don't. Yeah,
I'll probably check it out just to cross it off the list, because I have been trying to look for some shorter stuff from him so I can like keep it going a little bit since I've
I think it's only like 4 hours. Like it really isn't long.
That's not bad. I'd do that a day at work or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, it's not terrible. It's just I could see it being the second book. I mean, it feels like something I would have wrote in high school. Like it's just very. I don't know, dude. It was very childishly written, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
I know he's a great writer. I don't know.
They can't all be bangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess not. But I gave it 3 out of 5. I mean, it's average, I guess, for like this. Like Silas was saying about splatterpunk, like when you get to like the extreme shit, sometimes they're really just plowing it in, so it's not affecting you anymore. It's like, okay, cool. I mean, fucked up shit's happening. Can I get a break or like actually like build up to it so I can feel it? Like,
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, Lise. Oh wait, no, baby. What about you? Sorry.
I read something called The Guest List by Lucy Foley, again on Audible, because that's the only way I'm going to be able to punch out as many books as I do.
Okay.
The book it's a whodunit. It's a murder mystery. There's a wedding happening on an island in Ireland, and you gotta ride a boat to get to the island and shit, and it was one of the things that's really crazy to me is there were 6 different narrators, so that like each guest, it's called the guest list because you go through each guest getting like their perspective and what's happening and how they could be a suspect and all that stuff. And each guest had a different accent. You got your women, your men, like it was crazy. Like if they were snobby, then they had like a snobbish voice, but they were also in an accent. There was a lot of things that I really enjoyed about it. And that was definitely one that really got to me, because a lot of the books you listen to, there's one narrator for the whole thing and they just change voices, and that's great, and if you can do it right, then that's really impressive, but I feel like a lot of the ones I've listened to can't do that. So I really liked this one because of that. There is one thing in this book that kind of bugged me. I will say that I am all for women being aware of their surroundings and keeping an eye on a man if she's alone with him, because you never know what could happen. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in as women now. But, I mean, it was beat for beat, dude. Every fucking time a woman was talking, it was always, she's alone with a man. Oh, I gotta keep my eyes on him. I gotta do this. Like, he could do this to me. And there were just constant insinuations of, like, this man could rape me. And I was like, okay, dude, we're now on the 4th character. Like, I'm over this shit.
Yeah.
Like, cut it out. We get it. It's a little too much. And you could tell it was written by a woman because of that factor.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's almost like the inverse of what Bones read.
Yeah, basically.
That's really funny. Yeah.
Getting
was
into
just-
the car, listening to it with her.
Okay.
I couldn't help but cringe the whole time.
Stop. I like a whodunit. And there was a twist, which I also mentioned that I love. Because it's the last person you're gonna guess it's gonna be. Which is great. Yeah, again, descriptions. I'm always gonna bring them up because they really are just something that I have to have them, or I'm not gonna be interested. If you can't put me in the place and make me feel it, make me see it, make me smell it, I don't want to fucking read your book. I did feel like I was at what they called the Foley. I could see the building, I could see the island, I could smell the breeze of the ocean, I could hear the waves. Like, I like that. It's awesome. And I like to, like, forget that I'm actually at work, and I just feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love those types of settings specifically, too. That's, like, my bread and butter, and I'm a sucker for some good atmosphere. That's for
exactly. Sure. I definitely, like I said, with the narrators having multiple, I feel like that was really good for character development, because you really truly get, like, as each character is their own person. And I feel like that definitely helped you care more about the characters, because it wasn't just the same person reading 6 different people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I would recommend this one if you're into that kind of thing. If you don't like murder mysteries or twists, you probably shouldn't read it.
Yeah.
Because that's basically the whole thing. So, but I really enjoyed
Hell
it.
yeah.
Okay.
That sounds cool.
I like both of those things.
I also liked her so much that I am currently on my second book of hers right now. I've got 2 hours left on it, and I also bought 2 of her other books. So.
Oh, hell yeah. All right. That's awesome.
Yeah. What about you, Lisa? What you got?
Lisa, real quick. I'm so sorry. I have to pee again.
Okay. Okay.
I know I held it for as long as I could, but I had to piss. Or
I
I was
know.
gonna piss myself.
I was kind of glad that you left while I was reading, talking about my book, though, because I already know how you...
It wasn't the book's fault. It was the fucking people reading it were so
No.
bad.
No, they weren't. You don't know what you're talking about. And everyone has a preference. You don't have to like mine. That's why there's, always 5 or 6 of us, because we all have different things
I
that
get
we
what
like.
you talk about too with having multiple people read it. I always like it better than one guy trying his hardest.
That's what I'm saying.
You're trying, bud.
I really like it. And again, I'm not done with the book, but the one I'm reading right now, it's the same thing. There's 6 narrators. I like that.
It's usually professionally published shit. It does that because you could afford to pay all those actors.
Also, her books are not that expensive. At least every time I've gone to look them up, they're pretty cheap. I mean, I bought the one I'm reading and 2 other ones all in total for $15. So they were about $5 each.
Nice.
So they're not that expensive either. And they're 10.5 hours long. So it's a really long book for basically nothing, which I feel like is also kind of nice.
Yeah. I am going to talk about 2 short books. So the first one is called Reels by Troy Poppler. The second one is Edward, which is a prequel to Reels. So Reels is about Edward as an adult. And, he's a lonely guy. He has a dead-end job. And he has an obsession with disco music and his mom. He really doesn't like women, especially not the social media influencer type women.
Accurate.
Well, they're kind of the worst.
Mm-hmm. He really hates them. And so he starts, tricking these influencer women into coming to his apartment so he can torture them. And
doing God's work.
He decides he's going to make his own reels. He's going to do his own live stream.
Hell yeah.
I can't remember how long it is. They're very short books. I think they're both on Kindle Unlimited. I actually had them because I always get free books for the Stuff Your Kindle days. And I have 3,000 freaking free books in my Kindle library. So,
hell yeah. That's awesome.
yeah.
And you steal your account.
Wait, who was this by?
Troy Poppler. Poppler. And so I gave Reels 3.5 stars. It was fine, very splatterpunk, short. And then Edward is the prequel, which talks about his childhood, growing up in the 70s, I think. Yeah, in the 70s. He grew up in a trailer park in the 70s, and it's just, about him becoming the man he is today, and how he's been basically evil from the beginning.
Hell yeah.
He was just a real fucked up little kid running around the trailer park.
Dude, evil kids, best trope out there. I love that shit.
I think the prequel was a little bit better. I gave it 4 stars. I don't have a lot to say about them. They're very short and very splatterpunk. Just gross shit.
I need to put this down.
Reels is 27 pages.
Yeah, they're
That's
very
it?
short.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
So
Super short
she
books.
meant very, very short.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should check those out too.
And they're only 99 cents right now on Kindle.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so what about you, Silas?
All right. My next one. I had been trying to get through this thing for quite a while. I have pretty mixed feelings about it. I am glad I read it, and I have good notes in here as well. But this was Genital Grinder by Ryan Harding, which has a really awesome cover by one of my favorite artists, Susan Black. This is from the late 90s from Deadite Press.
Woo!
And they put out a lot of cool extreme horror splatterpunk stuff. Lots of Edward Lee, Wrath James White, Brian Keene, that kind of stuff. And they all have like really stellar covers. I wanna check out more from this label. I bought this secondhand on eBay for like $10. There's another one that has a Susan Black cover, The Book of 1,000 Sins by Wrath James White, that I definitely will want to check out just to have both of them on the shelf next to each other. Oh, there's even more. There's even more in here with her art as well. So yeah, I'll definitely try and get those. This is super cool because in the back of the book, it has little like black and white thumbnails of other books from the press.
Oh, nice.
And like order info for back when that was going, you know. It's so this was kind of like a frame stories sort of a thing. It's a bunch of different short stories that are not all directly related, but they have like correlations where you realize like, oh, all these characters are running around in this like same small town. And there are like little nods to the other stories, but they're not narratively connected, really. Except for like the main one, which is Genital Grinder, which is like 2 separate parts, and they're like the biggest stories in the book. That's like the main narrative, but there's a bunch of other stuff around it.
Okay.
So this one opens up. It's got an introduction, a pretty glowing one written by Edward Lee. About Ryan Harding and his writing, and I gotta be real, it also had maybe one of the like most misplaced and edgy little like references to like Peter Sotos in it that I ever saw. It kind of pissed me off a little bit because I was just like, what are you even bringing that? Are you just saying that for cool points? Like, what is this?
I know who this is.
But it was the 90s, so, you know, it's not like where we are now with all these authors and their places in the zeitgeist or whatever. It's like if you're writing extreme shit, you were writing extreme shit, even though, like, genre-wise, they're so far and removed from each other, like, even philosophically. But I was also a little mad because I don't think that anything in this was nearly as competently written as any piece from Edward Lee is. Like, it's super cool that he managed that pull for his intro, but I was expecting like, oh shit, we got a fucking little protege in the making here, right? And then I was just like, wow, this writing is really sloppy and really choppy and really hard to understand a lot of the time. I found myself going back and rereading little passages, just trying to suss out what the fuck he meant by what he said, like several times throughout the book. Because I think, like, separate from just like, you have to be in his exact headspace and mindset to understand the connotation he's trying to put on an otherwise benign and simple sentence. There's also some stuff in there where it feels like he just put in his own slang that he just like made up on the spot, and I'm just like, what the fuck does that even mean? What are you talking about? And like trying to suss out what he meant with context clues, because they're not things you can look up. They're just like his own little isms that he throws into the story. But that's fine. So let me find some more specific notes on this. There are a lot of pretty glaring holes in logic in this, especially just regarding the way things actually work in reality. And I was having a hard time understanding what he was going for throughout the whole thing, because a lot of splatterpunk stuff, there's this inherent like tonal thing where they'll have you have a suspension of disbelief that is pretty obvious, because this isn't how the real world works. Nobody would get away with half the shit these people are doing and get away with it for a long time. But that's like something that comes with the narrative kind of inherently, and you usually pick up on that tone pretty early, right? But in this, it kind of feels like he wanted it to seem really grounded, but then he also wanted to play around with that, or just genuinely didn't understand the processes for half the shit he wrote about in this book. Because a lot of the lead up to how things happened, I was just like, that makes no sense that this character got here via that narrative vehicle. Like, it makes no sense, because this is not how that works, like, in the real world at all. But it's whatever. I you know, like, even the plausible stuff I thought was, like, very far-fetched. But between all that, I thought there were some real diamond in the rough moments and some really, really blackly hilarious wordplay. When the stuff I was talking about that was messy at certain points, when it hit, and it was really, really funny and really well written, or just really like gross out and like, damn, that's crazy, I can't believe you went there, or what, you know, just that sort of thing. But it was kind of a mixed bag. It was about half and half with that whole thing. There are some pretty stark and depraved descriptors in there that I was just like awkward smiling at while reading. And all that being said, there is something genuinely charming about where it sits in that kind of like 90s zeitgeist time capsule that this is from, now this many years post its heyday. The story Emissary, toward the middle of the book, is just a lot stronger than pretty much every other part, except for maybe like the climax ending story. So I was kind of like, why? Like, why is this one so much? But it just felt so much more like competently written. And there was some cheeky, like, I spit on your grave dialogue reference stuff in it. They were specifically referencing the bathtub scene at one point, where it's like, oh baby, that feels so good it almost hurts, or whatever. Like that sort of a thing. He did that like verbatim in this, and it was really funny, and I caught it, and I was like, see, that's the type of like filmic reference in a splatterpunk or an extreme horror story that I can appreciate. I just hate it when authors are just like, do you guys remember name drop movie? That's always like really annoying to me and really lazy, but this one was really good. But yeah, Genital Grinder 2, the second half of the main story, which was like the end cap for the book, was much more breezy, well-paced, and maybe not as compelling as Emissary, but it was well-written. A lot more well-written than the earlier portions, and good God. Part 2 of it is absolutely fucking insane. It balls to the wall, depraved nonsense. And then part 3 was awesome and ridiculous in like a cartoony, almost self-aware comedic way again. And I think this definitely gets way better in its second half, where it really clicked for me, but god damn it. Did it take some time to get there. And I was reading this in chunks, like a story at a time every like week or so, because I was just like, I want to finish this book, but I don't want to read it right now. Like that kind of a thing. It was man, in the first half, this was sitting probably around like a 2 for me. I think by the end it had gotten itself up to about a 3.5. So that's saying something. If I had to rate it. But the final indications section at the tail end of the book is pretty cool, and I really ate that up. And it's like separate from all the other parts of the story. I actually don't really know why it end caps with it, because it does feel like it's narratively supposed to be like a part of the story portions of the book, but it's not related to anything. But the writing was just really good, and it had a lot of like pretty like existential kind of probing at human nature kind of stuff in the prose that I actually really fucked with, and I like that a lot in this genre. It also had a part in the end where he goes back through and talks about each of the stories individually, and that's where I figured out why this thing is so goddamn disjointed, because every single story was written, most of them years apart, and then grafted into a collection much later on, where he edited them to have a connecting thread so that they could be part of this frame story narrative about this one location. But they were all separate stories that were completely unrelated, probably didn't even reference anything to connect them at all at any point. I don't think he made these stories with the express purpose of eventually putting them in this collection. I think he chose to do it well after the fact and then kind of like forced them together through editing to make this collection. Yeah. But a bunch of the stories as they stood on their own were in a bunch of like extreme horror and underground writer like competitions, several of which were in person hosted and judged by the likes of Edward Lee and Jack Ketchum and several other like bigwig horror writers of the time. And I can't fault them for that. It's pretty fucking cool. He talks about like the awards that they won and like how they actually got him on like first name regular speaking basis with some of his favorite authors, and not in like a tooting his own horn way either. It was just very matter of fact, like talking about the history of these stories and how this collection came to be. And I thought that section was super cool. It was a super cool wrap up for this. But unfortunately, as much as it gave me the context I was wanting, it's context to all the negative things that I noticed about the book and how it just didn't really make sense or feel like those things needed to be stuck together. I think I would have liked this more as just a strict short story collection rather than something that had a narrative thread connecting them. Mm-hmm. I think that probably is what made it so messy. But like I said, by the end, it had propelled itself up to a 3.5. I don't have too many complaints. I'm happy to own it. Although, I imagine Susan Black chose, obviously, to license her artwork out for these books, but feels kind of weird because Susan Black is a very, very hyper-traumatized person, and all of her work is coming from a very genuinely deep, dark place, having to do with things that she experienced in her upbringing. And her art seems a little too serious and a little of a different category than being stuck on the front of a splatterpunk book, if I'm being honest. And that might just be a really nitpicky criticism on my part because she's one of my favorite artists, but I kind of feel like it's as awesome as it is as imagery for this book. I'm sure it sold a lot of copies. It made me grab it secondhand, but I think it's a bit beneath her to have her work stuck on stuff like this, if I'm being honest. And also, it's like a lot of this is written with like a really prurient interest in mind. It's not written to be like philosophical or like a takedown of the kinds of complex themes that she's talking about with her trauma art. So I kind of feel like it's antithetical to like what she does. But that's just a soapbox aside for me personally because of how much I love her as she is. But other than that, pretty solid book, pretty solid outing. I'll probably check out something else from him at some point. I'm not biting at the bit trying to do that. I'm not ready to jump in quite yet because this was pretty tedious to get through, if I'm being honest. But it's got some good stuff in it if you just want another splatterpunk thing to check out. But yeah, I would recommend it if you're a fan of the genre. If not, don't start with this one because you'll probably be a bit pissy by the end. Because it's tedious, but not an awful book. What about you, James?
Okay, so the next book that I have actually came out of the infamous box from my Father's Day haul episode.
Okay.
And it is the impetus for us doing our 250th film. Which would have been my Father's Day pick had I not realized how fucked up it would be to do that, because it is Combat Shock.
Woo!
Yeah. I did read the novelization of Combat Check. It's funny because when we did the unboxing video, I had Lily hand me all of my gifts. And of course, she's our 10-year-old daughter. She hands me this and she goes, I don't like that. Pretty funny.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so this is really short. It's 121 pages. I bought it from the MVD shop. And it was on sale. I do not remember how much I paid for it. It was not the cover price of $14.95. I can tell you that much. I think it was like $4 or something like that.
Damn,
Somewhere in
yeah.
there. Yeah, it was
Dude,
on like serious sale. So
Also, real quick, I just want to say that was such a cute episode. I loved listening to that.
Yeah.
I do wish that the video component had worked out because it would have been fun to watch. But like, I still had a lot of fun listening to that.
I was so irritated with that. I tried so hard to edit that to where it would be okay, and it just was not. My computer's not in the best of shape, and it just didn't capture that video very well at all, because it would have been pretty awesome. But it was funny because she hands me Faces of Death, and she is not fazed by it at all, and she hands me this, and it freaks her out. So,
Yeah.
But then again, my daughter's a weird one anyways, but... this was written by Buddy Giovinazzo. He is, of course, the director of the film. And I will be 100% frank and honest. It is not fantastically written. He doesn't seem to... God, I hate to say this because I love that movie so much, but he doesn't seem to know how or when to change chapters. He doesn't seem to know how or when to break scenes within a chapter. And so everything just kind of mixes. Like there'll be a part where Frankie is talking and you'll have an end quote. And then the very next line on the next paragraph, we're back in his apartment with Kathy. There's no break at all in there. So he doesn't really even know how to break the scenes within the chapter, which was very off-putting. And areas where there should have been, this should be a new chapter, it was not a new chapter. So that was a little frustrating, to be frank. But that being said, it is an easy read. It is a quick read. You can sit down, if you really just sit down and read it, you can read it in one sitting. It took me maybe 3 days to read it, and I don't read very fast, so that's pretty impressive. It does, if you know the film, it adds a little bit of context, as most novelizations do, to some of the characters, some things that weren't really talked about in the film. There's a whole subplot about Terry, who is not named in the film. We do get to meet him in the film, and I'm not going to say anything that spoils some of the major points of the film, because as I said in our episode on Monday, if you haven't seen it and you're from the What the Fuck Are You Watching podcast, you're not allowed to listen to that episode.
Yeah.
Because I do not want to spoil the ending. But a couple of things that don't spoil the ending, you get a little bit more insight into... So, basically, Frankie is a Vietnam vet. He was in a POW camp for a long time. He was declared dead. He ended up coming back to the state. He ended up escaping, coming back to the States, has severe PTSD. He had a job for a while, then he lost his job, hasn't been able to find work in like 4 months. He's got an Agent Orange grasshopper baby, as Sonny calls it. So this deformed child with his wife, and his wife is pregnant with another potentially deformed grasshopper Agent Orange baby, and they are about to get kicked out of their apartment. Bills are piling up. He can't find work. This is around the time of the first Reagan administration, where they were doing a lot of cuts to social services, not unlike today. And so he had no resources, and he basically just walks the street for a day looking for work. But in that day, he crosses paths with a junkie friend of his named Mike. He crosses paths with Paco, which is his loan shark that he owes money to, gets accosted by Paco and beaten up in an alley. Paco wants his money back. Paco also supplies drugs to Mike. Mike goes to Terry, who is the unnamed junkie in the movie, trying to find... He has the heroin, but he does not have the means to inject the heroin. So he goes to Terry to try to get the means to inject the heroin. And Terry's not giving him the means if he doesn't share his heroin. So there's this whole back and forth. Anyway, so that's all in the movie. That's all pretty normal stuff in the movie. But what's not in the movie is this whole subplot with Terry. Because apparently there's backstory to him that's not explored in the film, where he was down on his luck. He wasn't he was a junkie, but he wasn't completely out of his mind yet. And he had made a deal to sell his kidney. And he's in the back of this limo, and he's like, "Am I going to be okay? You know, is this legit?" And the dude's with him. He says, "Yes, it's legit. Here's part of your money up front." I think it was like $2,000 that he got up front. And he's like, "You'll get the other $6,000 when the procedure is over." And he's like, "Okay, great. I'm getting $8,000 for selling my kidney. Wonderful." And they toast with some champagne. He drinks the champagne, passes out. And the next thing he knows, he wakes up in an abandoned warehouse on a dirty mattress with his wound not being stitched up very well and only $2,000 because they didn't leave him the rest. And he ended up taking that $2,000, shooting it up, and he was done. He was out of money, out of everything, out of a kidney. That's not in the film at all. And it was really cool to see that subplot. There's also a little bit of context added to the children hookers.
Oh god. It's
not bad. The way it's framed, because there's nothing pedophilic about it at all. In fact, Frankie is not particularly happy with the pimp, and the other hooker that is kind of their guidance counselor, as it were. Yeah, Frankie's not too happy with them, but which of course leads to him getting beat up some more, which happens a lot in this book. There's a little bit of context added to the character of Mary, who is the one that she's the mugging victim. A little bit of backstory there. And that's right. The big one was the reason why Frankie doesn't want to go to his father for money is discussed in the book and not in the movie at all. So I don't really want to say anything about that one. We'll talk about that if we ever get around to doing this movie with you guys on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'll talk about it then. But there is a reason beyond just being mad at each other. And it's pretty fucked up.
Okay.
But yeah, I enjoyed it in spite of the fact that it was kind of a frustrating read just because of the issues that I explained a minute ago. But I enjoyed the added context to some of those characters, especially the story with Terry. Because I thought that kidney thing was pretty awesome. Very Charlie the Unicorn. He definitely did go to Candy Mountain.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Okay, so that's
James?
it for Combat Shock. What?
Did you ever check out that song I was talking about?
I probably forgot about it. Yeah. I remember now. No, I didn't.
Well,
I didn't.
I was gonna say, if you hadn't, maybe we can save that for when we do the movie together, and we can't play it on air because we don't want it to get copyright struck, but we can listen to it together as a group because it's
naturally
really cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's the song by the band Suicide from the late 70s called Frankie Teardrop, and it was actually the point of inspiration for Combat Shock.
Oh.
And it's they're like a proto noise rock band, really weird experimental type shit for the time, really whacked out. And that whole album just has an off feeling to it, but that song in particular is just really fucking harrowing and scary.
Yeah.
but it's really cool.
I meant to go look it up after you had mentioned it, and it just completely slipped my mind, and then I forgot things. But speaking of music, and this doesn't have anything to do with the novelization, obviously, but the music in the movie is fucking phenomenal. I absolutely adore that soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
It is fantastic.
Super
I
cool.
wish it was on Spotify,
yeah,
really do.
same.
but unfortunately it is not.
I think I went looking for it after Chloe and I watched it.
Yeah. It was, of course, done by Rick Giovinazzo, which is Buddy's brother who played Frankie.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Super cool.
All right, so I guess it's Bones' turn. Now,
I can be
Christ.
turned. Just kidding.
Words are hard.
I don't blame you, man. Every time this fucking episode pops up, I end up sounding more retarded than I usually am. So, my next book, my God, is my favorite book. And I am so excited to keep reading. I did finish it, but it turns out it was a series. Didn't know it jumping in. But it is The Killing Kind by Bryan Smith.
Okay.
And fuck! This is exactly up my alley, man. I love me some romantic killing spree across the country shit, dude. That is my favorite weird subgenre that's not even necessarily just in horror. We just get Bonnie and Clyde too. And like, but it's like, it's a mix of natural born killers and devil's rejects, where basically Rob, our beautiful, pathetic fucking main character, gets accosted by this very hot goth chick named Roxy with a gun, who tells him to start fucking driving and to follow this van full of college kids, because the college kids were douchebags to her. So we're going to Miami, baby. And Roxy's just this troubled, broken, trailer trash girl who killed her father and goes on sprees occasionally to kind of cool off some of those urges. And she decides today is the day to start another spree. And yeah, we follow them as they get into this weird psychosexual Stockholm syndrome relationship throughout the way, where he's just a pathetic little bitch boy, and fucking she just wants to get off, and then he ends up actually falling in love while he's witnessing her cut off a poor boy's face just cuz. And then we follow a different group of characters, two guys who broke out of a fucking mental institution, and one of them is following just this crazy voice in his head that's telling him where to go and what to do. And you know what? They're on the same path to fucking Miami. And they're crazy. They're in an insane asylum for a reason. Like you get introduced to them sitting in a park, and he's talking to this crazy voice in his head while the other guy's butt ass naked, face fucking a severed head, just singing and dancing. And the characters are so competently written for something so crazy. And it reminded me a little bit of 100% Match, because a lot of the fucked up shit is very passe and like brushed off to most of the writing, except for like from Rob's point of view, because he's getting like really mentally fucked that he's just on this ride now, and he's doesn't want to be a shitty person, but still in the end, fuck you, Rob. I fell in love. I love me a crazy bitch, and my God, Roxy is one crazy bitch, and she is awesome. Absolutely in love. But it was a blast. Absolute blast. It was 10 hours or something. That was such a breeze, man. And there's like 4 other books, and I am going to get them so much. I can't wait to read more from this author. Like I said, everything was so competently written and engaging, even when you're just on basically just a road trip with a hot goth girl who turns out to be psycho. I love you, babe, but I'd probably leave you for Roxy, even though I might get killed. But yeah, it was The Killing Kind by Bryan Smith. I hugely recommend anybody and everybody to check it out, even if you don't like fucked up shit, because like I said, it's very breezy when it comes to that. It's more about the relationships, and I love me some disturbed romance. It's so disturbing.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I fell in love with it. So
that
Lisa-
makes me want to watch
Hey!
sorry.
or Yeah, it
Oh,
makes me
shit.
want to watch Love and a 45 again, too.
Dude,
That
I
movie
fucking
a lot.
love in a 45, man.
But yeah, that sounds super cool. I can't wait to hear your updates as you grab the other books, too. I'll
I know,
definitely
that's
check
what
that out.
I sent you the link to the audiobook. You need to listen.
Yeah.
He's gonna
What?
stab you.
You're just trying to stab people with your fork.
Yeah, baby, what about you?
All right, so this was actually the first Audible I listened to. It was not necessarily a recommendation by Lisa. It was just I was looking for the cheapest option because when I decided to get books, I didn't have a lot of money at the time. So I read Shiny Happy Psycho by Stacy Walsh.
Yeah.
And again, I got it on Audible. Okay. So I didn't think this book was very well written. It's about a bunch of kids in high school. Correct me if I'm wrong. You've got your typical cheerleader who's portrays herself as a slut, but isn't actually necessarily a slut.
Yeah.
You've got a soccer player whose dad expects him to amount to everything, and he just can't seem to amount to what his dad wants him
he
to,
can't
no
live
matter
up
what.
to his dad's expectations. Yeah.
Exactly. And then you've got a couple nerds that are in this like, what is the group called? There's like the five.
Rockway Five.
Yes, there's a group called the Rockway Five. You've got your cheerleader, your soccer player, the two nerds, and the best friend.
Yeah,
her parents are religious, and like her mom beats her, and her dad just turns an eye to it. And it's fucking insane. Anyway, eventually two of these kids get murdered. Again, it's a whodunit. And while it's kind of going back and forth through the years. It's doing like when they're in high school, and then it goes to you get diary entries from the killer. And then what was it?
And then the girl from 30 years later.
Yeah.
That got locked in the murder shed.
Exactly, yeah. This I had some fun with it, even though I thought it was not very well written.
Yeah,
I did enjoy it though.
I don't think it was super well written. I loved it, but it wasn't like a well written book.
Exactly. I will say there was one part, and I probably wouldn't have noticed it, but Brock was in the car with me and it was playing. And there was a certain spot where it was like, D did this, D did that, D did this, and it was just like that over and over. Like you could have switched up between she, D, like, you know what I mean? And it was just D over and over. And I was just like, and that chapter was like 15 minutes long. And once he pointed it out, I was just like, okay, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this to me right now? One of the things I think I texted you about was, so another thing they do in each chapter, it starts off with, like, we'll say a week before the football game, because the murder goes down at this high school football game, but it's like
big game, yeah.
Exactly, but they put so much stake in this, the one fact that it's happening at a football game, and every chapter starts with a week before the football game.
Yeah.
6 days before the football, and just every time. And I was just like, this is so hilarious.
Yeah, she messaged me about it, and I was like, small towns love their football, man.
They do.
That's very true.
Yeah.
But we're one of those. Like, it's like that here too, but it's just like, dude, that's really not that important in the grand scheme of this whole fucking book. That does not need to be noted every single chapter for what was it, like 8 hours of a book? Where was it? Yeah, I said that. the killer, I'm not going to spoil it, obviously, but I will say if you pay enough attention to like the diary entries and just like certain aspects of the book, you would get it. I did not. I was all over the fucking place. I could not nail it down until like probably 30 minutes before it's revealed. And I was like, that's so embarrassing. This book's like 8 hours long and it took me like 6.5, 7 to get to that.
And that's why I liked it so much, because it took me until like almost the end to know for sure.
Exactly.
Because my original thought was who it actually is, but then I convinced myself that it wasn't that person.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I like the interplay. Obviously there's some sort of strength there in the writing that it was able to at least do that for both of you, which is cool. That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, it was really funny. Brianna messaged me and was like, I have this long left and I have it figured out. And I was just like, okay. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't know if she really had it figured out or not. And then she messages me again. She's like, update. I did not have it figured out.
I was like, never mind. I was totally wrong. She's like, yeah, I had a few guesses too. And then eventually I did nail it down. But yeah. Which that was like in that part. Yeah. Like you said, Silas, it was nice. That written part was very good. Like it did have you keep guessing, and if you thought you had it right, like change your opinion on it and make you think you weren't right. So I think in that aspect she did well, but there's certain other aspects that just weren't where they could have been. I kind of compared it to like those cheesy terrible movies that you watch where it's like it's a good time but it's so bad it's good. Like, it's fun to make fun of and, like, talk about and, like, maybe read with a group of friends and then, like, shit talk it and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I would definitely not rate this very high if I was to rate it. So I don't know if I would necessarily recommend the book. But, I mean, if you've just got time to pass, I don't think this book was very expensive. So, I mean... You can give it a shot and maybe you'll like it more than we did.
No, I really liked it. I rated it 5 stars, actually.
Oh, you did?
Oh, yeah. Just because, like, it had me guessing, like, until almost the end. And that's very unusual for me. Usually I have it figured out pretty quickly.
Yeah. All right. What do you got, Lisa?
All right, so I think I'm going to talk about, I always talk about like a biography type book. And this time it's going to be From Here to the Great Unknown by Lisa Marie Presley and her daughter, Riley Keough, I think is how you say her name. I listened to this on Audible. It's narrated by Julia Roberts and Riley Keough. So Lisa Marie Presley actually started writing this book a while before she died. And she was just struggling. And so she asked her daughter to help her with it. And then a month later she died.
Oh.
And so then her daughter took all of her audio tapes that she had recorded and put the book together herself. There are a few clips of Lisa Marie Presley talking. Not a lot, though. So, of course, you know, she talks about growing up at Graceland when she was really little, because Elvis died when she was 9. So she talks about her childhood up until she's 9 at Graceland with her dad, how much she loved her dad. She talks about her marriage to Michael Jackson, her drug problems, her son's suicide, like,
Jesus.
it's, yeah, like, so much. And it's kind of a short one, too, like, for a biography, it's like 280 pages, so not super long. I really liked it. I know, like, lots of people have problems with Elvis.
A little bit.
But, you know, like, my dad was a huge Elvis fan, which is why my name is Lisa.
There you go. Oh, yeah.
Damn, wow.
Yeah. And a lot of the bad reviews I saw for this book, they were complaining about she kind of like just idolized her dad and didn't say anything bad about him and made him out to be like this great person. And they're like, well, you don't know what your relationship would have been like if he was alive. And I'm like, yeah, she doesn't. She was fucking 9.
That's a fucked up thing to
Like,
say, yeah.
She was 9 when he died. I was 11 when my dad died. I understand completely. Because, like, I know my dad probably wasn't fucking perfect and the greatest person ever. But that's how you feel about them because you only had them for those few years. And they were a good dad, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just seems like such a moot point to, like, bring up his legacy and the finer points of his relationships to others when it's, like, literally being written from a child's perspective about her dad who was good to her. It's like, yeah, no shit, he did some fucked up shit. I don't think that this is the book where it's the place to talk about that, though, necessarily. Exactly. Unless she chose to make it that, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, he didn't do anything to her, so, like, she doesn't have anything bad to say. I've always wondered about Priscilla Presley, like, maybe she is a shitty person. And this book made me think that she probably really is. There's a whole part where, like, Lisa Marie had a stepdad that was obviously molesting her. And her mom fucking knew about it. And would, like, make the guy go in and apologize to her.
Oh, Jesus fuck.
Jesus Christ.
But then, like, it just kept happening.
That's like 10 times worse than ignoring it.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's way worse.
Exactly. Like, yeah. And Lisa Marie's like, you know, then I felt embarrassed and ashamed. And, like, I had to forgive him.
Jesus.
Because he's coming in and saying sorry to me. Like, that's fucked up. And yeah, the bad reviews, like I said, they were mad that she didn't talk bad about her dad. And they said that she comes off as, like, you know, some spoiled fucking rich girl that never had any real problems. And I'm like, okay, but, like...
That's crazy.
That's most
Jesus
celebrity
Christ.
biographies, you know?
But, like, also obviously not.
Yeah, like, obviously she did have problems.
What the fuck?
Yeah. And she did have, like, a lot of drug use when she was a teenager, but it was never like she was super addicted to anything.
Never her dad's level.
It was kind of just like just doing it to do it because she was a teenager and she wanted to rebel. It wasn't until she got to, like, her 40s that she actually became an addict and got addicted to painkillers. And her daughter talks a lot about how, like, Lisa Marie knew that was a problem with her dad, and she would always say, like, the problem was that her dad was surrounded by people that didn't tell him no. But then, like, when people tried to tell her no, she wasn't having it. And so, like, she was basically just following in her dad's footsteps. So, yeah, it's a pretty fucked up book, and sad. Like I said, I'm just a fan, even though I know they're not, like, the best family. So it was kind of a hard read. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, they're also just, like, they're so cemented, though, in, like, the American cultural zeitgeist as well.
Oh, yeah.
Though. It's like, it wasn't something... I don't even remember ever hearing bad accounts about Elvis until I was an adult, you know, but, like, obviously I was exposed to that stuff so much growing up because he's, like, a cultural icon for America. So
exactly.
It's, you know, it just is what it is, unfortunately, but that's how it is with most celebrities, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like I said, she does talk about her marriage with Michael Jackson a little bit. She doesn't go, like, super into detail. But I think no one
Yeah, fucking speak of the devil, man. Like, here we go. There's another fucking crazy ass situation there.
Yeah. And she, she never thought he was guilty of any of it. She always said that, like, she didn't believe it, that she thinks he wouldn't do those things. So, I don't know. I think a lot of people believed that, like, they were never actually, like, in love, though. They think it was, like, a publicity sort of thing. And the way she talks about him in the book, I think they actually were, like, really in love with each other. It just
Did
couldn't
she ever get
work
to
out.
hear his real voice?
I don't know about that. I don't think she mentions the voice thing.
Get that real.
Yeah.
But yeah, it didn't work out with them because, he was Michael Jackson, and, like, she didn't want all the fame. She kind of wanted to shy away from her dad's fame. And then she gets with Michael Jackson, and it's, like, even crazier because it's the two of them. And
Yeah,
so.
wrong person to choose.
There was no avoiding that.
Yeah. And, like, she left her husband for him.
Damn.
And then the ex-husband that she left for Michael Jackson was the only one with her when she died. Like, that's crazy.
Jeez.
So, anyway, I guess
Such
we
a
can
tragic
move on.
fucking family, dude.
Oh,
That's just tragic family.
Yeah,
fucked.
for sure. I guess we'll move on to Silas.
So my last one for tonight is called "Do Not Censor" by Craig Podmore, and it's got this really cool
Oh,
hell yeah, pop art
Sick.
cover of Charles Manson. So Craig Podmore is somebody I only read because Jay, who is a close friend and collaborator of Filthina Pig, sends me cool peripheral weird underground culture shit on occasion in packages along with, like, extras and goodies from the movies or whatever. And he one day sent me a book by Craig Podmore called Toilet Mouth. And I absolutely loved it, which is crazy because I'm looking at Goodreads now. It's like one of his lowest rated books, but I was like instantly like, oh, this is totally gels with me. I understand exactly, like, I think where culturally this is being written from. I loved every minute of it. It was like if Peter Sotos was a poet is like what it felt like. It's a really good fucking book. Craig, I think, exclusively does poetry. And I don't read a lot of poetry nowadays, especially because it's hard to find poets that I really gel with in terms of, like, content or whatever their impetus and inspiration is. So this one definitely did it for me. So I needed to check out something else by him. And when I told Jay how much I liked the book, he was like, oh, I actually have another one by him sitting around. I'll send that the next time I send stuff to you. And so he sent me this one, Do Not Censor, which is pretty much exclusively about Hollywood and celebrity culture and kind of like the threads and the spider webs of Hollywood's effect on American culture, almost synthesized through the lens of, like, Charles Manson and, like, the Tate murders and that sort of a thing. But it's all poetry. It's pretty open-ended. It's really interesting stuff. Let me find my notes on this. Yeah, it kind of dismantles and picks at all of the dark underbelly facets and sensibilities regarding Hollywood and celebrity. And I described it as a helter-skelter filtered phantasmagoric drug trip takedown of all things Hollywood and its cancerous cultures.
Fuck yeah.
Let's see. It kind of probes at the ultimate endpoints and current conditions created by the advent of film and the Hollywood system and its impact on wider culture in every facet. And largely, honestly, unfortunately, that's just the reason that any of us are here talking right now, for better or worse, is because of it, which is why I found this so thoroughly interesting. And it kind of probes at the inherent like undercurrent of evil sown by entertainment in general. And I listen to a lot of like weird fucking fringe and extremist people who are not coping well and kind of out there in the fucking aether, you know, as far as their opinions on things. And I see a lot of pinings about how, similar to Charles Manson or similar to like Ted Kaczynski or somebody like that, a lot of people see the advent of entertainment as inherently evil in a lot of the ways that it has affected the world over its course. And obviously I love escapism and I love entertainment, but it was really interesting to see someone strip it down and rendering it as nothing more than like an escapist drug, almost not really worthy of praise any more than something like alcohol or heroin would be. And I love just how like intense and biting and like scathing the commentary in this is in that sense. I largely tend toward his shorter prose pieces that fit in like a single page as far as the poems that I pick out and like the most through in a read through. I did that with Trash Mouth or Toilet Mouth, and I ended up reaching out to Craig after reading it and telling him how much I loved it and like talking about specific pieces I really loved. And he had gotten back to me, and I may end up doing cover art or interior art for him at some point now.
Yeah.
Which is super
Awesome, dude.
because he was extremely receptive and thankful for the review. And I just put it straight in his inbox, just not even knowing if he would ever open it or read it, but that was super cool to hear back from him. Let's see. I wanted to read something from this as well, if that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested.
So it's split into two halves. The first half is called Fiction, and the second half is called Reality. Fiction had a ton of stuff I really liked. Maybe I'll just do the first one that really stood out to me.
Okay.
I had a lot of fun with it. It's called Faster, Faster, Kill, Kill, Meth and Mickey Mouse.
Oh yeah.
Wiping the sweat off my brow after our aggressive act of sodomy, my lovely, sufferable Lolita's gluttony of various prescriptions, meth being one of many, knocked back with cheap cognac. The shadow of Miss Hayworth laughing in the corner of our sex-stained motel room. The TV plays old Mickey Mouse cartoons, whilst I envision Walt Disney crucified in suburbia, lamenting values of the American dream, unhinged by the heretics of underlying Christian hate. We shoot. I throw the TV into the bathroom. I then shit on the bedsheets, as my broad scrawls pig on the cheap and misty mirror facing the unmade bed, which I then set alight. The flames arise. Mickey Mouse jumps out of the TV, wearing stilettos and fishnets. A demonic voice stirs from Mickey's cherubim presence. Rita dances in the fire. Naked, her monotone voice demanding murderous games. But we run. Engine on, my baby jeers. I am startled by Rita's psychotic face. In the rearview mirror, she's going to haunt me until I kill again.
That's fucking sick.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's this one called again?
This is called Do Not Censor.
And also, if you like extreme poetry, Wrath James White has a really good collection called Ecstasy of Agony that has short stories and a shitload of poems in it.
Oh, hell yeah. Okay, these two are toward the very end, and I really liked them. They're extremely short, so I'll just do them both. This one was called Gunmen on the High Street. Depressed shoppers pervade the markets. They buy new clothes, new technology, and new perfume, but still wallow in their despair, as they try so desperately to be someone else. Society informs them that they can be someone else. They can be victims. Others choose to be murderers. Morality is absent in consumerism, as the gunmen shoot the shoppers down, but the shoppers are numb to the bullets as they arise and continue to shop.
Damn.
Wow.
And then this one was called Metamorphosis. A man, these were actually the last two in the book, which is like, it's such a punchy end note. Metamorphosis. A man went into a shopping center, armed with a sawn-off shotgun. He killed 3 infants, 4 women, and 9 men in total. Before he went on to killing himself, he exclaimed, "You all made me. Be thankful."
Damn.
So yeah, pretty just it's just really fun. There are a lot of things in this that feel like really unhinged and psychotic, and almost in the first half as well. In fiction, it felt like there were several that were being written directly from the point of view of Charles Manson, that I really, really dug. And I don't know, this was just a great collection piece for for Charles Manson buffs, anybody that's like really interested in that case and that history of that time period around it. I think it would go great on the shelf next to, like, I don't know, something like Helter Skelter by Kurt Gentry and Vincent Bugliosi, the true crime tome about the whole thing. But it would also fit just as well next to like a copy of The Manson Family by Jim Van Bever. It's like, it's both ends of the extremes. It's a really awesome little piece, and super short and sweet, super cheap, I think, to get a hold of. I'm pretty sure all his books are still available on Amazon.
Damn.
But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait to check out more of Craig's stuff.
Yeah, he seems super up my alley. There's one called "Your Misery is for Entertainment Purposes Only." That is like a porno cover. That looks sick.
Yeah. But so far, I really love everything I've been exposed to, and it's only these 2 so far, and I'm really excited to get more. But I need to beef up my my poetry game as far as reading goes, and I'm super glad to have inadvertently stumbled onto him thanks to Jay. So yeah. It was Do Not Censor by Craig Podmore. And this one, this is a physical one I got.
I was gonna say, I just looked it up, and that seems to be the only way you can get it. It looks like you can get it on Amazon. It's only physical, a paperback.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Toilet
It's
Mouse
only $10
$6
though, which I feel like isn't, for a book. I still feel like that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, that's
not
bad.
No,
Dude,
stuff is very reasonable.
Toilet Mouth's reading age is 1 year and up on Amazon.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
That one is available on Kindle as well.
Hell yeah. What about you, James? You got any more?
Oh yeah, one more. Full disclosure, I have not finished this one yet.
Okay.
But I felt like it was okay, given the fact that I have read this 7 times prior to this reading.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basic. I think you could call this a classic at this point, considering the fact that it is exactly 40 years old. And that is The Hellbound Heart by Clive Barker.
Woo!
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
So this exact copy that I hold in my hands here, I bought in 1994 at Walden Books inside Crossroads Mall on the south side of Oklahoma City, which has now been shut down due to gang violence.
Oh.
But that doesn't have anything. that doesn't have anything to do with the book. Of course, this was originally released in 1986. It was a part of an anthology. And it wouldn't get its standalone release until 1991, and this copy comes from that pressing. So this is the first, it was the first reissue of it after the anthology. And I've had this for many years, and it's very near and dear to my heart. I have taken care of it very well. You can't tell because of how beat up it is, but considering the fact that I've read it 8 times now,
yeah,
it's amazing that it's in as good a shape as it is.
Yeah, especially for a paperback.
Yeah. And of course, like, it's really short. It's only 165 pages. 164. It's 164 pages. I don't remember what the word count on it is. It's not very long. I mean, it's another one that you could sit down and, I mean, if you're a decently fast reader, you can read it in one sitting. It's not terribly complicated, and it's not that different from the movie. Of course, just in case anybody's not aware, this is the book that the movie Hellraiser was based on. Clive Barker, of course, wrote both the book and wrote and directed the movie. There's not a whole lot of differences. Kirsty is not Rory's daughter in the book. She is a friend who has feelings for Rory, which that's what causes the tension between her and Julia, rather than the stepmother thing from the movie. The movie, if you recall, opens with Frank opening the box. It's like a 30-second shot, right? He opens the box, chains come out, that's it. And in the book, it's a whole ass chapter. He has a long conversation with the Cenobites. They imbue him with many sensations, mostly painful, of course, and then for no reason, he just jerks off on the floor. And which is interesting because the Scarlet Gospels, which is the actual only direct sequel to this book that exists, there's been many iterations of the Hellraiser story, whether it be Pinhead or other Cenobites, in both film and comics. But in the written novel, the only true sequel is the Scarlet Gospels, which is where Barker combined both Pinhead and Harry D'Amour. That's his paranormal investigator, detective dude, from a lot of his books, played by Scott Bakula in the Mouth of Madness in the 90s. Anyways, in that book, it opens up with a demon masturbating. So
Yeah.
Clive Barker kind of has a thing for certain subjects. Of course, I don't know if anybody's aware of this, but Barker was actually a male prostitute before writing became something that could sustain him from a financial standpoint. So a lot of his works are kind of based on those experiences. And that does feed into Hellraiser and the Hellbound Heart quite a bit, due to the idea of sensation, the difference between pain and pleasure, and even the numbing aspects of it, because he referred to his time as a prostitute as being incredibly boring. It was just another job, basically. But I love this book so much. As I said, I've read it again 7 times. This is the 8th time. And I haven't read it since... I read it once since I've been married, before this time. So I haven't read it in probably 10 years, maybe. So it's been a while. So it's kind of cool to go back to something like this that I have such a close relationship with. And after having not picked it up in that long and going back to it and reminding myself why I love it so much. Which is a sentiment that's no different than certain movies, you know, and which is interesting because part of the reason why I read this, not part of the reason, the entire reason why I decided to read this is because up until when we did Chained last week or the week before, whenever that was, Hellraiser was going to be my first pick for next season on our podcast. But now it's Chained.
Okay.
Because I desperately want Sonny to watch that movie. I really do.
Yeah.
So we will be doing Hellraiser next season. I'm just not entirely sure when. But I wanted to read it before watching the movie again. So yeah. That's all.
Yeah, I need to reread it because I remember like the opening is literally all I remember from the book because I loved it so much. Like with the androgynous fucking hell priest and sitting on that throne and like tongues and shit.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like the Cenobites they're not incredibly different. Like the descriptions of them, it's not like you could kind of see how they would exist in the same world as what the movie is, although they are described quite differently and genderless, which they were not in the movie. But Pinhead isn't like, and it's not even really clear which one is Pinhead. Pinhead's not the main Cenobite. The leader is the engineer, who in the movie is this beast-like character that is more of a Cerberus, kind of a guardian to the gateways to the labyrinth. And in the book, it's an actual Cenobite that speaks and articulates and is more in charge than what he is in the movie. So he's a completely different character. But Pinhead is kind of a mixture of a couple of different designs from the book that kind of came together to form that character in the film. So but anyways, and the engineer would be used later because the engineer is also the alias of the serial killer from Inferno, which is the 5th movie. So they did come back to that later, but never quite the way that they did in the book. Yeah, which is fine.
Man,
anyways,
that's super cool. Actually, if you don't care, I have a few things about that. Recently, I lucked into a really pretty, really cool, and still in great condition paperback copy of one of Clive Barker's fantasy novels that was not dark. It's actually one of the ones he wrote for more of a YA-tuned audience. And I'm really excited to eventually... It's pretty thick, though, and it's pretty dense, but I eventually do want to get into it because I'm really interested to see how it juxtaposes with his, like, usual fare. And how his writing shines when it's not being made for, like, that part of his audience.
Grotesquerie.
Yeah, but also I recently got this... James, I need to send you this dude's profile because it's on Instagram. You can check out most of the stuff that's in this, but I got this book, this really beautiful special edition, like, hardback art book by this artist, Frank B., who did, I think it's called, like, Visions of Suffering or Visions of Agony or something like that, but it's a collection of all these, like, 3D render, I think made in Blender artworks that he did of, like, his own designs for Cenobites.
Oh, nice.
And they're immaculate. They're absolutely beautiful. But, like, if you're a big Clive Barker and Hellraiser fan, I know you will eat it up, and I will... I'll send you his profile. I think you can still get the book. I don't know if this, like, special edition is still available, but I think there is a standard edition. The only difference is it doesn't come with, like, some sort of, like, envelope of art cards or some bullshit that you don't need anyway. But, like, it's very, very cool. I need to send that to you. I'm gonna remember as soon as I re-listen to this. But
absolutely. Yeah. Please do.
But yeah, and also this is separate media, but I'm really, really excited for the Hellraiser Revival game.
Yeah, dude. Yes. I'm so excited, dude.
Because they've been consulting directly with Clive Barker the whole time, and it was essentially like the studio making it was like, we are not censoring anything. It's going to be all out grotesquerie. Like it just, balls to the wall insanity. And I've seen some gameplay footage recently of, like, a new demo for it, and it looks awesome. And there's actually going to be, like, combat and stuff in it. It's not just, like, running around hiding from things like in a lot of those first-person horror games. And it seems like it has kind of like a Resident Evil puzzle system as well, which is really, really cool. But, yeah, I know that you and Sunny used to do, like, Let's Plays and things back in the day. I don't know where you're at in terms of, like, your computer and stuff now, but it would be so cool if you guys ever chose to revive that and did a playthrough of that. I feel like that would be so cool. But yeah, Clive Barker has done some really cool video game forays too. I know Chris and I have talked about his game Jericho. That was like a supernatural shooter where you're like a team of 4 characters fighting against the hordes of hell, essentially. And I've always wanted to go back and find a buddy to play that with and check that out. But those are my notes. I love Clive Barker stuff. I'm so glad that you brought that up tonight.
Yeah. I'm hoping to reread the Scarlet Gospels soon too, because I really, really enjoyed that. It's been a couple years since I read that.
Yeah, I owned it, but I didn't know it was the sequel, like a semi-sequel to Hellbound Heart, because I would have read that way faster if I knew that.
Yeah, and it's cool because they acknowledge the name Pinhead in it and discuss how the quote unquote hell priest hates the name. Like it's actually addressed in the book.
Oh, that's cool.
Which I thought was so fucking meta and awesome. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, it is a really good book.
Hell yeah.
All right. So I guess Bones is next.
Okay. So my last book is a literary equivalent of real death car crash videos that they used to show high schoolers so that they didn't drink and drive.
Red Asphalt.
Yeah, Red Asphalt. It is Go Ask Alice by Anonymous, which is a blatant fucking lie. So if you
I've
don't
heard of this.
Yeah, if you don't know the context of this dumb bitch that is written down as an editor, I don't remember what her name is because I have a very early 70s copy, so it's like it doesn't say her name like it does actually.
Yeah, they're still playing into the whole thing.
Dude, and it's so fucked up because before I get into this book, this bitch was a horrible fucking human. This is pure fiction. And because a parent read this, like basically there was these parents and their kid actually killed themselves and had a journal. And because they read this, Beatrice Sparks, yeah, that kind. But because they read this book, they gave her their fucking kid's journal who killed himself. And she held on to it for 2 years, cut that bitch up, put in a bunch of satanic panic shit and that he was a horrible fucking human, and put it out called Jay's Journal as a real fucking journal.
What the fuck?
And it was horrible. Yeah. Why would
Straight
you do
up,
that?
Piece of shit, exploitationist all the fucking way. And that
Terrible.
book, unfortunately, that book is still probably sitting in so many school libraries across America.
Yeah.
Because there was a copy of Go Ask Alice in every goddamn library I've been in since fucking middle school. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I decided to reread this because I was one of those unfortunate fucking like elementary school kids that got this. And I wasn't given it. My mom, this is my mom's school copy of it. And
gosh.
It was just handing out, it was in the house. And I read it like halfway through. And I remember my mom bursting in the fucking door, like looking through the window, seeing me read this and ripped it out of my fucking hands. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And so she proceeds to sit down, scroll through the book, and just read me passages. Shockingly, she just chose the worst passages.
It's not shocking.
It's not shockingly. My mother's fucking crazy. But yeah, so rereading this now, it is fucking so fucked. I mean, it's about a girl who basically gets into drugs, and of course weed is the worst one. Weed and fucking acid. That's the bad ones. Because you know what happens when you smoke weed? You do heroin next day. And she gets into drugs and fucking she just bops around getting raped and fucking doing drugs and
she
fucking
just bops around.
Yeah, dude. Then she gets into an insane asylum and shit.
Now, for the benefit of Sunny, who will be listening to this episode, does she boof any of them?
No. I was legitimately disappointed because I think my mom just made this shit up, but I do vaguely remember there being something gross with her shoving something up her vagina, and it never happened. And I feel like my mom just made it up. But there is a lot about her.
That's so
period.
funny. I had meant to like say I meant to comment. I think I forgot because I was just like listening while working or whatever. But like when that got brought up on the recent episode, James, I was gonna comment in response to Sunny and be like, I already expected to make that T-shirt, but
yeah. But I mean, it's just a fucked book, and it's all from a fucking 15-year-old, and like. I'm not even going to spoil it. It's a fucking book to traumatize children to fucking stay away from drugs. So it's like, it ends super happy. And then it's like epilogue. The subject of this book died 3 weeks after her decision not to keep another diary. Her parents came home from a movie and found her dead. They called the police and the hospital, but there was nothing anyone could do. Was it an accidental overdose? A premeditated overdose? No one knows. And in most ways, that isn't important. What must be of concern is that she died, and she was one of the only thousands of drug deaths this year. It's
Jesus
fucking. But
She
while
died from a
reading
weed
this,
overdose?
no, it doesn't even fucking tell you, dude. Like, yeah, it was like
she injected too many weeds.
dude, and there's so many. There's like legitimate times where it's like instead of dates we have question marks because she's on a fucking bender. And there's just this one portion towards the end of the book where she's doing super fine. The dopers at school that smoke weed are treating her like shit and gonna plant drugs in her dad's car. I'm super scared about that. Then she goes off on some batshit fucking rambling, dude. And you're like, what is happening? And it's like,
She goes on for like
the dopers
fucking
broke
15
into the house I was babysitting at and they put acid on my chocolate. And fucking, I'm in the hospital. Maggots are coming. Like, maggots are happening. My dead grandpappy. It's all bad. Oh, no. Oh, wait. Yeah, here it is. What was it? Hold on. This is some crazy shit, dude. Oh, God. Where was it?
should have bookmarked.
Oh, a fly got in my room today and I couldn't stop screaming. I was so afraid he was going to lay more maggot eggs on my face and my hands and my body. It took 2 nurses to kill him. I can't let flies get on me. Maybe I'll have to stop sleeping.
Oh, my
And it's
God.
went on for like a week. It's like, that's not how acid works. What is
Yeah.
happening?
Like we have bug at home.
Dude, yeah. But legitimately, like, this affected me as a child. But reading it now, I could tell it was written by like a 60-year-old woman who has no clue about the culture. She's using slang wrong. And like, it's fucking terrible. She has no clue what she's talking about. And the funniest thing is that I just told my mom that this was fiction. She had no fucking clue because part of this book takes place in my fucking town. And
Oh.
she was legitimately told by one of our fucking family friends that, yeah, Alice was real. That whole section where she stayed above a gas station, that was our gas station. We've kept all the fucking druggy kids up there. And it's like, no, I'm sorry, Mom. You can literally just look it up. It's not real. It's all fiction.
Oh.
Dude, that is so funny because the other day I saw people talking about in one of our like local Facebook pages. Somebody brought up like Jim Jones being from Richmond, Indiana, which is true. But his wife is like buried here, I think.
Damn.
But they were like, yeah, and Ted Bundy, he went to Richmond High School for a little bit, and he actually went to Earlham College for a little bit too. And I was just like, let me fucking fact check that. And that was 110% not fucking true. His family's records are kept here because somebody in his distant relation with the same last name started like a big public records thing that's been a thing here for a long time and is housed in Earlham College as a document that you can still pull up in the library. That is the connection, and it turned into he went to school here in these 2 places and lived here for a little bit. And I'm just like, good God, guys, come on.
Dude, yeah.
I feel like so
fucking-
many places do that.
Oh, it's so crazy, man.
It all kind of makes me want to. I will not do this because I think I would be too angry. But it almost makes me want to read Michelle Remembers.
Oh Jesus!
Just because I want to see how fucked it is.
It's fucked.
But I think I would.
Clearly fucked.
Oh, I know. I think I would get so mad reading it. I don't think I would be able to psychologically handle reading that book because I think I would just be so fucking angry.
Dude,
But,
that's why I really want to read this bitch's other book, the Jay's Journal, that's like actually half real, and the Satanic Panic shit, because I know I'm just gonna be seething with utter fucking hatred reading it. Like,
I watched a documentary not too long ago about the Satanic Panic, and it mentioned the Michelle Remembers, and it's so infuriating.
it is. Yeah, I found a copy at the thrift store, and I didn't even finish it. I got halfway through, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
I think I'd be right there with you, but I kind of want to try.
Yeah, I think it's worth it just to say you did.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nowadays, far enough for unfortunately it's all cycling back, but nowadays I do really love trying to collect all that stupid old like scare tactic ephemera kind of stuff from that age because it's just interesting. It's just interesting
cool,
as like from a historical standpoint, but you know, nothing much has changed, unfortunately.
Well, and the problem with that stuff is, though, that it's not nearly as entertaining as like Reefer Madness or what was the cocaine one?
I'm pretty sure it's just called Cocaine.
No, it's like Cocaine Maniacs or something like that. I used to have a tin sign of it at work that somebody bought.
Yeah.
I've seen it. I watched it. It's hilarious. But you know, those things are entertaining. Some of these other things, like Michelle remembers, are not.
No, they're just infuriating. It's cool to have in my collection, but I just don't want to do that to myself.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, go ask Al.
Fiends. It's Cocaine Fiends.
Oh, yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I have Something Weird Video put out a copy. It was like a double pack of Reefer Madness and the Cocaine Fiends.
Yeah.
I have that on the shelf somewhere.
It's like on Tubi and shit, too.
So. Yeah.
That's where I saw it was on Tubi.
Her drug scare shit's hilarious, man. Go ask Alice. It got 3 stars for me for nostalgia and history. That's about it. I'm not going to say anything fucking positive about this book because fuck the cunt who wrote it. It's a horrible thing to do. And I fucking still, like, I mean, it was effective to me. I mean, I still did drugs. But the fucking don't do this to your children, motherfuckers. Don't do this to your children.
Right.
Fucking terrible. Babe.
Oh, I'm done.
Oh, you done?
Oh, you're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to save my other 2 for next month.
Okay, baby.
Well, I guess I will just talk about, I read some books that you guys talked about last time.
Woo!
I read the vasectomy book that Silas talked about.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
And I know Sonny read it too.
Because I got that on my list, so try not to spoil too much for me.
I mean, the guy kind of deserved it. Like, he was shitty.
Yeah.
He kind of deserved it.
He was pretty gross.
I think I probably would have just divorced him. But, I mean, I guess her plan works too. With everything that happens to him and the money they get for it, I guess it works.
You're too much of a nice girl, is what it sounds like. Need more devious.
Yeah. I gave it 4 stars. I liked it. And I read Unbortion that Brianna talked about.
Rowland versus Junior, baby.
And yeah, that was a short one. It had some pretty gross parts, but I think Brianna even said it, like, it was weirdly like wholesome in the end.
Right?
It was unexpected.
Yeah, I didn't expect that ending either.
He's a wonderful writer, dude.
Yeah.
It was like very wholesome at the end.
It was so good. And I also gave that one 4 stars. And then I read Fishhead, which Bones talked about.
Have not finished it.
So like it starts with that guy on the boat with his family.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck this guy. I was like 3 sentences in and I was like, this motherfucker better die.
Dude, for real.
And then like, that's it. Like, it's so short. And then his whole story's over and it just goes on to this other story.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I kept waiting, like, is it connected? No, not really.
Just the main guy. That's the whole connection was the fish head guy.
Yeah. Yeah, and like the town is like luring people in to like get murdered by fish head, basically. It was okay. Like, it wasn't amazing. I gave it 3.5 stars. It was pretty good.
It was schlock for sure, dude. Yeah. It's schlocky. I love it.
It's also a short one. They were all pretty short books, so.
Splatterpunk is usually pretty short.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It is, yeah.
And then I think I just want to give a shout out to the Mindfuck series. And I don't want to go too much into it because I'm still trying to get Bo to do an episode on it with me, which is what the fuck are you reading was supposed to be. It just
where are you, Bo?
I miss you, Bo. I miss you.
This was your month. Why are you not here?
I just want to bring that book up because I watched the I Spit on Your Grave remake today.
Woo!
And the reason I read the Mindfuck series is because people were saying it was so much like I Spit on Your Grave. And I watched the original I Spit on Your Grave and I was like, I mean, I guess kind of. I think they mean the remake though.
Yeah.
Because the remake, the rape scene is definitely not as bad as the original. That original rape scene is rough.
Yeah.
It's like half the goddamn movie.
Yes.
It's evil.
And the remake is not nearly as bad. But her torture of the freaking men when she gets her revenge in the remake is so much fucking better.
It's satisfying as fuck, dude. The fucking crow eyeball shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually really like that one a lot. The remake of it.
Yeah.
I do too.
And I'm like, I think a lot of the torture in the Mindfuck series is a lot like the remake of I Spit on Your Grave.
Oh, now I want to read this shit. Fuck.
It's a 5-book.
Write it down.
It's a 5-book series. They're all pretty short books though. And yeah, it's really fucking good.
Hell yeah.
A Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey.
S.T. Abbey.
Like Stabby.
Oh my god.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah, and I think that's all I have then. So
I wanted to say one more thing about Go Ask Alice.
Yeah.
Drugs don't make you gay. That's not why being gay exists. I get it with the fucking 60s, dude. There's so many portions of this book where it's like, I was so disappointed in myself, I fucked this girl. It was because I was high. No!
No. Drugs don't make you gay. Henry Cavill makes you gay.
And Tylenol makes you autistic.
Yeah.
I'm sick of hearing about this.
Yeah, I also just watched But I'm a Cheerleader because Sunny had it on her list of her favorite romantic comedies. And that made me think of that because, yeah, like the whole sending them to gay camp.
Yeah.
It hits my heart in such a deep place. It's been one of my favorite movies since I was a kid. RuPaul, you're the fucking man, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's I don't know about where you guys live, but Regal Cinemas has a month-long Pride thing that they're doing. And it's going to be, oh God, what day is it? I'd have to pull my notes up to look. I want to say it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
At least here at Regal Cinemas. I don't know what the schedule is at your local theaters, but it's one of the ones. And Hedvig. Hedvig's going to be in theaters.
Yeah!
Hell yeah.
I love Hedvig.
I swear to God, I've told Sunny about this movie like 3 or 4 times, and every time I say something about it, she's like, I've never heard of this before. I have to explain the Angry Inch to her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it never sticks, but every time I explain it to her, she's like, oh, that's how roosters have sex. Like you say this every time.
Yeah. And sadly, our movie theater shows half Christian shit, so we're definitely not getting the gay movies.
Yeah,
Aww.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
I know.
I guess that's it for our book episode this time.
Woo! Woo!
And we'll be back next month, and we're all going to read The Bug Collector so we can all talk about it.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah. All right. You guys say bye, bitch, Chris.
Bye, bitch, Chris.
Bye, bitch, Chris.
Bye, bitch, Chris.
Bye, Chris, you dumbass fucking bitch. You could have stayed. Fuck you. Well, actually, it was a lot more intelligent without you. I love you.